yours to give your all. Stand or fall.
Dun, 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 dun.
The Star Wars trilogy is back on the big screen and in selected bags of Doritos. Everyone's excited, some more than others.
Help me, Obi-Wan, you're our only hope.
Chewie, don't worry about me. You gotta rescue the princess now.
Luke, I am your father. It's true.
Now celebrate with Star Wars 3D motion cards. Collect all 6 in specially marked bags of Doritos tortilla chips.
Yoda, I've come to complete my training.
You know SEO. What if you could do it smarter and faster? With Wix, you get a
Pepsi theft. It can happen anywhere, anytime. Fight back. Introducing the Pepsi Club. Now Pepsi moments don't have to become anxious moments.
Excuse me.
What you were about to see did not actually happen, but it could happen.
They took everything! Look, Ma, the Pepsi Club works.
Not today. Thank you, Pepsi Club.
Pepsi, Generation Next.
Available in 6-pack. Nickelodeon wants you to be a part of You Pick Nick.
That means you!
You Pick Nick, presented by Sargento Moonshine Snacks, is Nickelodeon's newest live show where the audience gets to call the shots.
That means you!
You pick the games, you pick the dad, you pick Nick. It's all done by
You! That means you! You!
$3 off with 2 proofs of purchase from Moonshine Snacks.
Coming to Roy Wilkins Auditorium Sunday, February 23rd. Tickets available at these locations or charged by phone at 989-5151.
This is our big pizza.
Boss, let's make everything big.
Little Caesars Big Pizza. 12 big slices of cheese and pepperoni plus a free 2-liter Coke, all for $7.99.
Bigger.
Phone Patrol from 1-800-COLLECT.
Attention, citizens! I've got big news. 1-800-COLLECT is now 10 cents a minute every evening.
Whoa, 10 cents a minute. That's cheap.
Yep, 1-800-COLLECT. You'll save so much you can buy a new hairstyle, Sonny.
I never thought collect calling could be so inexpensive.
Isn't saving money fun?
1-800-COLLECT. 10 cents a minute every evening, all week long.
Where's Cookie?
Gone for grub.
I'm so hungry I could eat a horse.
Cookie better rustle up something good.
Yep, like Subway's chicken fajita subs. Toss, I can almost taste them delicious chicken strips.
With heaps of garden fresh fixings.
Topped with paste thick and chunky salsa.
Here's the grub, boys.
Burgers!
Get a rope.
Take the Subway challenge and take 1 bite. If you don't think our subs are great, you get your money back.
Want some waffles?
Waffles? Are you crazy? I don't have time for waffles.
You do if they're Eggo Cinnamon Toast Waffles.
Trying.
Where's the butter and syrup?
Are you crazy? You don't have time for butter and syrup.
They're the first waffles with a baked-in sweet cinnamon taste. So they're great, even without butter and syrup.
What you eating, Dad? Waffles.
Are you crazy? You don't have time for waffles.
Eggo Cinnamon Toast Waffles. Hey, you've got time for waffles.
The Star Wars trilogy is back on the big screen, and each planet is celebrating in a different way. On Earth, people are playing Feel the Force at Taco Bell. Press the game piece to magically reveal if you've instantly won cash, one of millions of prizes, or a special edition Hummer. See the trilogy, Feel the Force. Play the game at Taco Bell.
Are you sure this is the right theater? I'm not even sure it's the right planet.
Hello, everybody who's on the fence about buying Clean My Mac X. I'm going to show you what it looks like behind the paywall.
Oops. Look what you did to my car. Ow! My neck. I'll see you in court.
Court. I just tapped it.
I don't like the looks of this.
Unexpected expenses?
Guilty.
Now at Hardee's, get 2 quarter-pound Boss Burgers for only $2 with special Boss sauce. 2 for $2. Only at Hardee's. What will they think of next? 2 bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits, also $2.
Every player has a weakness. Tonight, Mr. Grant Hill's weakness takes center court.
there's only one place to go for the irresistible taste of America's favorite fries. Did somebody say McDonald's? Now come to McDonald's and vote for your favorite NBA All-Star.
Have fun with Grandpa.
Bye-bye. This spoon I got in Missouri. What does it say?
Missouri?
Your great.
Need a smile?
Hi, Domino's.
Right now, get a medium pizza with any crust and all your favorite toppings for just $8.99.
We'll scarf this down.
Domino's, delivering 1 million smiles a day.
Dad never lets me do his nails.
See why.
Dog one on the black line. Perfect strike line.
This is for Coach Brannigan, who kept me in that game, and for all the kids who voted for me, for my family, who said there isn't anything I can't do. And for myself, who believes
The Whopper has 39 grams of fat. To counteract the effects of a fat-filled lunch, choose the burger joint farthest from you and run there. Or go to Subway, where you can get a fresh sandwich under 6 grams of fat. Subway, the way a sandwich should be.
The VHS tapes for this episode have been brought to you by Telehell, the only podcast that covers the worst, the dumbest, and the most sin-worthy of TV moments from the past 7 decades.
Why do I get a second? What's the tempo? 1, 2, 1, 2. One more time.
You got my heart working overtime. I let you in, let you cross the line. You want my trust before you have to try. Give all your love if you wanna keep me. You got my heart working overtime. I let you in, let you cross the line. You want my trust before you have to try. Give all your love if you wanna keep me. You want my heart if you want my trust. Don't play with my heart. Give me all your love if you want my heart. If you want my trust, don't play with my heart. Give me all your love. I'm gonna get back to it. I don't know if we should do this. You and something dangerous. 'Cause I'm little bit confused. I better be in the front seat when we cruising down Love Street. Don't waste this opportunity. I'm letting you get close to me. You got my heart working overtime. I let you in, let you cross the line. You want my trust, so you have to try. Give all your love if you wanna keep it. You want my heart if you want my trust. Don't play with my heart. Give me all your love if you want my heart. If you want my trust, don't play with my heart. Give me I don't know what I'm doing, but ooh, I don't wanna get ruined. Damn, can I get something? What? Just show me you're worth trusting. I'm the prostitute side of me. You know that I'm so sweet. If you want me to slow down, I'm not gonna hang around. You got my heart working overtime. I let you in, let you cross the line. You want my trust before you have to try. Give all your love if you wanna keep me.
Welcome, everyone. It's good to see you guys. Friday evening. I hope everybody's having a nice time. I hope everybody's relaxing. I hope everybody has finally kicked off their shoes and is sitting with whatever makes them comfortable, in whatever makes them comfortable, wrapping up this week. Oh, man. How about those kids, huh? They were dope, weren't they? I discovered that band. I'll probably get a copyright thing for it, but it's worth it. Yeah, I just randomly, I think I saw them on Facebook or something. But yeah, just a bunch of kids in somebody's house, just, you know, spending their time wisely. Clearly. So I was just really impressed when I saw that group. There's another song that they've got that's really, really good too, that I was just like, wow. But yeah, like unbelievably tight. Yeah. So I'm always really impressed when I see like kids in their free time, just like, oh, well, I played saxophone in high school. Well, okay, get good at it and come meet me at my house. Yeah, I'm always really impressed with stuff like that. I hope everybody's having a nice time. We're gonna get like the title says, we're gonna get a little muddy. We're gonna play in the mud a little bit. You guys know how it is. I mean, was this not to be expected? I mean, I could go on here and I could talk about Kohberger, you know, and just regurgitate the same shit that everybody regurgitated yesterday. I could do that. I don't have an expert on my panel, so no shade thrown at those who are getting expert perspectives on certain things in that affidavit. The thing we got to understand about that is it's a probable cause affidavit. Okay, probable cause, just it's only required to state the evidence that they were able to collect in order to have probable cause to arrest and contain and charge. So we still don't know what evidence they have, what evidence that they could have collected from his car, from his parents' house, from his house or his apartment. We have no idea the mountain of evidence that they could possibly have. So don't be, you know, understand that you're only seeing a small part of the grand picture. Okay. Only what law enforcement is going, and you're not going to find out what else they have until the trial. It's just not going to happen because now they're by law obligated to not discuss the case. Everybody is under basically a gag order where they cannot talk about this case and give any more details. So now we just wait. That's all we can do is wait. So, but I'm interested. I'm extremely interested to find out what they do have. But understand, like, law enforcement, people are like, oh my God, is this going to be enough to convict? Is that DNA on the button going to be enough to convict? I mean, I don't know. I'm not an attorney, but I've been hearing people who are pretty privy to the law say that it could be enough. As long as it's presented properly, as long as the prosecution presents it properly, it could definitely be enough. But the thing is we have to understand that it's highly doubtful that that's all there is. It's just all that we, the public, are aware of. So that's all it boils down to when it comes to that case. Now, again, it's just a question of waiting. And in the meantime, people are going to behave on YouTube the way that I can, and you can easily predict that they're going to behave. And, that's where I come in. So who to start with? Let's just start off with, this fool right here. Now, this dude just posts like all day long. It's so strange. Okay, let's just, okay. I just wanted to go over it for a second here. But if you look at the stuff that this stuff says, okay, this is JLR, Jonathan Lee Riches, a.k.a. Jonatalia. This idiot is just posting and posting. His most recent from 3 hours ago, how long before Brian Kohberger starts getting marriage proposals? It's possible some lives could have been, okay, see, this is what pisses me off. So right here, he's saying it's possible some lives could have been saved if DM would have called 911 right away. Now, there's a reason why you'll see people. You're going to see respectful channels. You're going to see the difference, a very, very clear indication of a scrupulous channel versus a shitbag channel like his, with no ethics and no boundaries, no respect. Welcome, Susan M. The difference is you're going to see things like this is the affidavit was deliberately redacted. Okay. Part of that redaction was leaving out potential witnesses' names, and leaving out victims, even to another degree, maybe not directly victims of Kohberger, but or allegedly Kohberger, but there's a boundary set there. And it's so that they're not tampered with for either legal purposes or simply because they've been through enough and there's no reason for their privacy to be invaded. There's no reason for their name to be drugged through the internet. There's just no reason for it. And for him to sit here and say something like that, as disgusting as it's possible some lives could have been saved if Dylan Mortensen would have called 911 right away. Well, okay. Well, here's the thing about that. No, not true. After she saw him leave, okay, which we don't know the circumstances under which she failed to call 911. We honestly don't know. There's a 100 reasons that we'll go over tonight, I'm sure. But nobody, the reason why that statement is just simply untrue is nobody was hurt after the fact. There are no known victims after the fact, and they caught him. So they prevented any future victims. So it doesn't matter that she waited to call 911. It honestly does not make a difference. We could sit here and we could throw mud at her and we could judge and we can debate on whether or not she's at any fault or not. And it wouldn't matter because the fact of the matter is there were no more victims. It was after the fact. It was already too late. And she did what she could You know, I mean, I wasn't there. You weren't there. I prefer to assume that she did what she could. You have never been in that situation. Okay. I promise you that the chances are in the hundreds of trillions that there is someone in this chat who has genuinely been in a situation like that, where everyone in your house was stabbed to death, and then you saw the person leaving your house. Nobody. Nobody. So you don't get to judge this person because you've never been in her shoes. It's not in any way ethical, in any way, shape, or form. It's not in any way fair or kind or empathetic to assume something of somebody that you can honestly say that you have ever been in that situation. You just can't simply just can't judge her. It's not even that it's wrong to do so. It's just wrong in the sense that, like, it's incorrect. It can't be done logically. So it's just plain abusive and shitty, and it's slanderous to drag this girl's name through the mud when you don't know anything of what it's like to have been in a situation like that. And JLR is a fucking moron, and we know it. So, and then it goes on here to say, you know, he loves to justify his shitty actions. And it says here, media declared Bryan Kohberger's family not off limits, capital N-O-T. They've been reporting about Brian's sister all day. See, you're just looking for some sort of validation to not be looked at as a complete and utter douchebag. And it's pathetic, really. These people deserve just as much peace as the victims' families, because I can only imagine what kind of a shock it would be to find out that their son turned out to be. I mean, imagine how disappointed your parents are, JLR, to know that you're just a child in the body of a mid-40s man running around and playing pretend and playing press. This is what's become of your life. Imagine how your parents must feel just about that. Imagine the disappointment on top of that if it turned out that you were a cold-blooded killer, or at least accused of being a cold-blooded killer. So imagine that, JLR. I would like you to do that. Just sit and try to put yourself in your parents' shoes right now, and how they must look at you at what you're doing right now with your life, and what you've done with your life. You've made yourself totally infamous by being a nuisance. You've actually made a name for yourself in the public eye as a nuisance. Nothing more. Nobody respects you. Nobody respects what you've done. Nobody respects what you do. You've just made yourself an utter nuisance. That's it. I mean, let's take a look at some of these, at some of his latest.
Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates. I'm out here getting my body right, working out. Let's talk about Bryan Kohberger. Bryan Kohberger was in court, and I want to show you something. I want to show you something right here, right now. Check it out, and then we will discuss. Look all over his arms. Looks to me, cuts. Probably, maybe permanent scars, maybe. You know, by the time he got arrested from when the crime happened, we're talking about almost 2 months. Well, a month and a half. Is that enough time to heal? Do you think those were cuts? Do you think those were cuts on his arm? And if so, do you think authorities have seen that and taken photos of that to document as evidence against him?
Right.
Because if he does have cuts, considering all the other evidence on the affidavit of probable cause against him, from the cell phone pings to his car surveillance and DNA on the sheet, the cuts will be part of that if he has them.
He can't even explain why the cuts would be part of that. It's called DNA. You know how they identified him in the first place? From the snap? It's called DNA. That's why that would matter. That's the only reason that would ever matter, is why he would have cuts. Because otherwise it's just pure circumstantial.
I think they're cuts. I am covering this case at all angles, no stone left unturned. Go check out my videos. Bryan Kohberger, arrested, charged, 4 counts of murder, burglary. I'll be covering the proceedings. Stay tuned. God bless the victims, their family, and the entire community in Moscow.
Or
be safe, everyone.
Maybe don't God bless them necessarily. That's nice and everything. Maybe just leave them the fuck alone. How about that? Send your God bless yous to them after you've left them the fuck alone. How about that? I think that would be pretty awesome.
Jonathan Lee Riches investigates. I am covering the tragedy in Moscow, Idaho. Let's talk about the 4 a.m. DoorDash. Affidavit of probable cause in the case states that Xana received a DoorDash at around 4 a.m. on 11/13/2022.
Hold on. Snug with Pug. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Love from Australia. Love from down under. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Now, I've already made some videos about Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box. This video right here. If you haven't watched that video, I strongly recommend it. I'm assuming that the DoorDash that Xana got was that Jack in the Box. Reason being, because the Jack in the Box, a Jack in the Box bag was seen, crime scene photos seen by the kitchen sink with the name Xana on it, right here.
Okay. All right. So what about Jack in the Box, JLR? Please tell us.
Now, it makes me wonder. First off, Moscow, Idaho has no Jack in the Box. It's from Pullman, Washington. And Bryan Kohberger's apartment, the proximity of his apartment to the Jack in the Box is very, very close. It's very close. So I'm wondering.
He's wondering.
Did Bryan send Xana the Jack in the Box? Who ordered the Jack in the Box?
I think that would have shown up in the probable cause affidavit that he was the DoorDash driver. But since that was nowhere, anywhere, no. No. I don't this guy is unbelievable.
DoorDash. Did Bryan set up this DoorDash so he could follow the DoorDash person and then use that as an opportunity to attack?
Okay.
After the
just a second there, Professor. So so what you're saying, because the DoorDash has to be linked to an account, okay? And Xana probably had her own DoorDash account in her phone with her own card set up as a payment option in her profile for DoorDash. Are you saying, JLR, since you're suggesting that Brian set up the DoorDash delivery. He intercepted her phone. He hacked into it, placed an order without Xana's knowledge, and set it up so that he could use the DoorDash to get into the house. Holy shit. We got to get tech in on this, guys. Guys, you. Who's my best tech guys? Get on it right now, right? Find out who hacked that phone. JLR, you're blowing my mind, bro.
After the DoorDash person leaves off the Jack in the Box, then Brian hits the house in a surprise, because knowing that whoever gets the Jack in the Box is going to be up, especially when DoorDash knocking on the door. Possible theory.
That's crazy.
Possible theory.
Wait a
or
second.
did Xana?
That's fucking crazy. So you're putting together that if somebody ordered DoorDash, they were probably awake. Fucking brilliant, dude. Like, killing me. This is, I mean, the knowledge being dropped. It's like, whoa, knowledge. It's too much. It's too much.
Order a DoorDash, which could be the Jack in the Box, or is the DoorDash that Xana got not even Jack in the Box, something else? But regardless, maybe Brian ordered the DoorDash or someone as a ruse so the person can open the door, or maybe not. Just a theory. Subscribe to my channel, like, hit the notification button. I was just thinking, you know, if Brian came from Pullman and Jack in the Box, which was seen in the
Hey, dickhead. It's in the fucking affidavit where he specifies that Xana told him, or not Xana, but he was the roommate told him that she ordered DoorDash. Like, it's in there. It's in there. Like, there's no, it's already cleared up. There's no theorizing whether or not Brian ordered the DoorDash. He did not order the DoorDash. There's just no possible way that he did that. Like, where's your fucking brain, dude? Like, dude, somebody lock this guy up.
in the house at the crime scene, at photos, Brian used that as a ploy.
Can't stupidity be deemed a danger to oneself or others? Can't that be a fucking thing? You know, like, I mean, I don't know, because I know that they lock you up for observation. If you're, you know, and then they keep you, they lock you up for 72 hours to find out if you're a danger to yourself or others. Now, and that's how they determine how long to keep you in there, right? How much treatment you need any further, that sort of thing. Can't a level of stupidity, you know, a certain kind of stupidity, his kind of stupidity, can't that be deemed dangerous to himself or others, to be that stupid and that kind of stupid? I feel like it should. Like, it's weird to me that this dude is walking around and he has access to a computer. He has access to the internet. This guy is the last person that should have access to the internet. Like, he has no business being on the internet at all.
A ruse,
an
opportunity
to
get in that house. Not really. I'm not saying he conspired with the DoorDash person. Probably not. Maybe Brian delivered the DoorDash, but I don't think so, because the affidavit said they already contacted. The affidavit of probable cause said they contacted the DoorDash person. So,
and don't you
Brian
think
set that all up?
Don't you think that would have shown up in the affidavit if it turned out that Brian set it up, that it came from his phone? Don't you think they have ways of figuring that out? Genius. They managed to figure out his exact location all those times. Sassy but classy, thank you. If he had a thought, it would blow his mind. That would be a small explosion. I agree. I mean, he keeps having these thoughts, and it's really, really strange and disturbing.
Possibility. remains to be seen. Hope more information comes out. Why did Brian target that house, the 1122 King Road address?
That remains to
We
be
still
seen.
don't know. The public still doesn't know. I'm not sure if the authorities know because they're still asking for information about Brian.
Dude, I gotta
Kohlberger.
give a shout out right here to Blank Screen. Yo, how are you not like banned, like hidden? Dude, I'm blocked from everybody, bro. How are you not blocked from everybody? I feel like you work for them or something to some capacity. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be part of the shtick, because I don't understand how you have not been blocked yet by MGL, by BHB. It's crazy to me. Like, I keep seeing you troll the fuck out of these people. I don't understand how you're able to pull that off. It's amazing.
And as it was reported, Brian Kohlberger also said, I guess when he got picked up, did anyone else get arrested? I wonder if others are involved. Though the police chief said he acted alone.
Fucking Wayne Gacy said the same damn thing. Like, that's what these people do. Oh, okay. So you just got a bunch of accounts with the same name and shit. That makes sense. That makes sense.
I really wonder if anyone else is involved here.
Dude, like,
we'll talk soon.
These assholes that want to outsmart cops. These assholes always want to be cops, first of all, right? This is a very common thing. Edmund Kemper. Now I'm naming serial killers, but I believe that this person was he had the makings of a serial killer. He was technically not a serial killer because that one murder scene does not count as part of a serial killing. It does not. But I think he was definitely on his way. Or at least had aspirations of doing it and getting away with it, outsmarting the cops. But he's not very smart, you know, because people are wondering like whether or not he left the sheath behind on purpose. No, I don't think he wanted to get caught. I think that he honestly thought that he was smarter than everyone. I think maybe he could have left the sheath behind on purpose, but not to get caught, but to throw them off, maybe to fuck with them. Because I was on Grizzly True Crimes. I was in her chat. She was live. She had this gentleman on. I'm not sure at what capacity his professionalism is, but he or where his profession lies. I don't know, but he was he made a really interesting point, saying that I mean, if the knife came with the sheath and you took the time to pull it out, I mean, what did he do on the way out the door? He didn't put it back in the sheath. Like, what did he do with it? And what, you know what I mean? Why leave the sheath behind? It doesn't make a lot of sense. So, but yeah, he made some dumb mistakes, but I don't think that there were mistakes made on purpose. A lot of evidence points to the fact, or points to the likelihood that he was wanting to be a law enforcement agent to some degree, at some capacity. So, you know, a lot of these former killers, they're known for admiring cops and kind of wanting to be one, more or less. You got Wayne Gacy, who admired cops. You had Edmund Kemper, who admired cops. Not Charles Manson. He didn't like cops, but but yeah, there's it's kind of a pattern. It's weird. I don't know exactly what the theory is behind that. I'm sure there's profilers with theories, but I mean, I'm just not educated enough to have one. But it's just a common thing. And so I do believe that this person was definitely trying to become part of law enforcement in order to get away with his crimes. I think he had a lot more planned. I don't think that you brutally murder four random people who you just decided to stalk, and you picked out of a hat and you decided to stalk, and then you end up murdering four people. I don't think that you do that without a thirst for killing. And I don't think that history teaches us that thirst is quenched that first and only time. It doesn't happen. a first and only time. So I would assume that he would have kept going at some point. Just based on what we know so far. Something may come out in trial that will disprove anything that I'm saying right now. This is just what I think based on what we know. But this dude is not even entertaining any of this.
Soon I'll be posting more videos. Everyone be safe.
Like-
Justice for the victims, their family, the community of Moscow.
Yeah, shut up.
Here's the deal with SEO on Wix.
Jonathan Liebrich's investigate.
Okay. All right. Are you in a fucking Snuggie right now, dude? Like, are you reporting from a Snuggie? Are you seriously right now trying to pass yourself off as a legitimate news reporter dressed up like fucking Cookie Monster? You expect us to take you seriously? Are you fucking kidding me right now? You're fucking with me right now. He's fucking with me. You're fucking with me, dude. There's no way. It's no.
Investigates. We are going to talk about Brian Kohlberger and his whereabouts on the day of 11/13/2022. Brian Kohlberger charged with the stabbings of 4 innocent college students in Moscow, Idaho.
I can't take him seriously.
Murders happened around 4 a.m. to 4:25 a.m. on the early morning hours of the 13th. If you read the affidavit of probable cause, which got released to the media and public, you will see some key information inside of it. And I'm going to share something with you. I'm going to share what the affidavit said about where Brian Kohlberger was on the afternoon of 11/13/2022. So he committed the murders, allegedly, 4 a.m. to 4:25 a.m. The affidavit of probable cause says he was back around the Moscow home around 9-ish in the morning. Then he seems like he headed south on Highway 95 to Clarkston, Washington. Clarkston, Washington.
So what?
About 35 minutes away.
And?
South. But he was down there. Check this timeline out. So according to the affidavit of probable cause against Brian Kohlberger, at 12:36 p.m. on 11/13/2022, his cell phone shows it was near Kate's Cup of Joe coffee stand in Clarkston, Washington. The surveillance footage from the nearby Chef store shows a white Hyundai Elantra drive past the coffee stand. This was 12:36 p.m. Sunday, November 13th. Then, according to the affidavit of probable cause, Brian Kohlberger's cell phone pings near Albertsons grocery store in Clarkston. Video footage from Albertsons shows Kohlberger exiting the Elantra at 12:49 p.m. and interior cameras capture him walking through the store, purchasing items at the checkout, then leaving the store at about 1:04 p.m.
Wow.
Clarkston,
This is fucking mind-blowing.
Washington.
Yeah, we already know this.
And on
dude.
that day, 11/13/2022, Sunday, between 5:36 and 8:30 p.m., Brian Kohlberger's phone stops reporting to a network during this time. That is the final mention the affidavit gives of Kohlberger's alleged movements on November 13th.
We know.
His phone just went off. Similar to how it went off up in Moscow for an extended period of time in the middle morning.
Does he think
Where
he's
was Brian
breaking
at? Was
something
he in the
here?
Clarkston, Washington area? And what was he doing? What was his purpose there? Was he plotting to do something else? Now, the question is,
he was plotting to kill.
What was Brian doing down in Clarkston, Washington? Why did his phone go off? And where did it go off at? Was he plotting someone else down there?
Why would you
After
think
he
that?
allegedly did these 4 stabbings up in Moscow. Was he trying to go down to Clarkston and do the same thing?
Maybe Clarkston has a really reliable vacuum cleaner repair shop, and maybe dude needed his vacuum cleaner repaired. Could be that, or literally an infinite number of other possibilities as to why he was there.
Same thing to some victims down there, victims group. There is a community college down there, Walla Walla Community College, right next door in Lewiston, Idaho. There is Lewis and Clark College. Was he plotting something down there, or randomly going to do something to someone down there before heading back home to Pullman, Washington? Why did he go all the way down there? Albertsons, cup of coffee. What was his purpose down there, and why did his phone not ping for an extended
what's
period
really
of time,
funny?
similar to what happened in Moscow?
Wildfire makes a good point. The most logical reason to connect this to this crime is why he was in Clarksville or wherever the fuck he's talking about. Maybe that's where he ditched the murder weapon. Did you ever think of that, JLR? Maybe. You never know. But what the fuck are you talking about? So like you're gonna hang your whole reporting on was he plotting something down there? Was he plotting something down there?
Let's go. So that's interesting.
No, it's not.
Does anyone know? Does anyone know? Have an idea on why Brian was down there in Clarkston, Washington? Subscribe to my channel, like, hit the notification, but I want to hear from you. I saw the affidavit and I'm just.
Shut up. Zigzagging all over the place. Hold on here. Grandmaster Sid Sophos, thank you, buddy. Cookie Monster worth 10. Brilliant. I mean, am I wrong? Dude was fucking dressed like Cookie Monster and expects us to fucking take him seriously. Strange. I can't figure that out. Now we're going to move on.
And sleeping when my phone started blowing up. Like there was several I'm laying in bed sleeping.
Of course you are.
And get a call from no other than JLR asking me, what the hell did I do to piss you off? I'm like, what are you talking about?
Thank you, Simple.
He's
like
he could literally, he must be a fan. I gotta say, he must be a fan because he called me immediately. And so I went in there and sure enough, there's a post. There's a post in my, and it's not just there. There was posts across several media. I don't know where all they were.
Several
but
media.
I got them all out. There was something on my YouTube. There was something on my Facebook, and I'm like, holy crap! So
holy crap!
Passwords were changed. I don't know who the hell knows my passwords. But apparently somebody does. So, yeah, I was confused too. And mind you, I was in bed and sleeping when my phone started blowing up. Like it wasn't just JLR. It was several people. But the only
okay. So basically, what she's talking about is there was a post. Okay. And I'll read it to you because then I got to unshare the screen and blah, blah, blah. Fuck all that. So there was a post posted by Bullhorn Betty, and people took screenshots of it. And then it was like immediately deleted. And it says, I am no longer associated with, nor do I follow because of his abuse upon women is Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates. He has been my best friend for years. You guys have known that. So why am I coming forth? You guys know he has not been in my inner circle for well over a year, but now he is targeting another young woman, and I have had enough. I will no longer be silent about Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates. Yeah, I call bullshit on that. Because let me tell you something, Betty. If somebody, like, there are people out there, not me. First of all, I have no inclination. I don't have the inclination to look for, seek out, or much less do anything with your password. But I feel like anybody who stole her password to do something that malicious, I feel like they could have done a lot worse with her password. You know what I mean? Like, that's her password to Google. They could have gone into AdSense. They could have gone into, they could have completely and totally shut her fucking channel down if they were so inclined. If somebody were so inclined as to steal your password, I doubt it would be for something just to troll you and say, you know, I don't want anything to do with JLR anymore. No, I feel like you are going through a thing. I feel like you're going through a thing, and you probably got into it with him, and then angry posted, and then somehow or another things got worked out, and all, now you guys are all cozy once again. That's pretty much what I think, because you being hacked and that being done as the hack, and that's it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it, especially since you think everybody is out to get you, especially since you think everybody is out to hurt and destroy you. Everybody's out to get Bullhorn Betty. Everybody's out to end her and destroy her, and they want to bring her down. If someone were inclined enough, one of these people that you speak of, if they were inclined enough to actually seek out your password and then use it, I seriously doubt, especially if you were asleep, I seriously doubt that they would have just simply just wrote a little post about JLR to troll you. I seriously doubt it. Either that, or that's how serious anybody takes you. If somebody were so inclined as to steal your password and that's all you have to worry about them doing, then I think that you and your little delusions of grandeur, this is an opportunity for you to realize that that's what they are. Because you're not, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody's trying to shut you down. Nobody's trying to take you down. No, at least nobody that I know, and not myself, of course. I, as opposed to you, am actually a supporter of freedom of speech. So I do support your First Amendment right. As a matter of fact, I'll speak up for your First Amendment rights. But what I will do, and what I've always said that I would do, is that I will use my First Amendment right to make fun of you for the way that you use your First Amendment right. That's what I will always do. I will simply exercise my First Amendment right. Was that justice? Thank you so much. Behind, but so happy you were here tonight, Will. It's been a long week, and I always look forward to your thoughts on these booths. Oh, I'm glad I could be of service. Thank you. Yeah, nobody gives a fuck about you like that. Obviously, obviously. I mean, it just doesn't, either you're lying about being hacked or you're lying about people driving by your house, because we know that's bullshit. People stalking you and victimizing you online. Nobody's doing all that. We're just pointing out your own bullshit.
The only person that made it through was JLR, because he's saved in my phone. So many of you guys know I set my my stuff up, and the phone doesn't ring unless you are a saved number in my phone. So that's great, at 11:30 at night or 10:30 at night, having to get up and go through and try to. I was just literally terrified.
Oh my
This is
God.
the worst thing I have ever experienced.
You know,
in
because she's got to get up early for work, y'all.
quite some time. But thank God JLR understands. He's like, what the hell's going on? What the hell did I do? I'm like, nothing. So anyways, long story short, passwords have been changed. I'm doing okay, but I can tell you I'm exhausted. because
Nobody
I
was
up
worried
for
about
at
you.
least an hour
What?
last night, from like 10:30 to I don't know, midnight, I think is what I was. But this shit is real and it's pissing me off. So whoever was in my computer, whoever hacked me, screw you. I hope you found what you're looking for. So whatever, right? Anyways,
Thank you, Amy Lynn Vincent. JLR looks like BK. It's the vibe they both put off. I don't know about all that. I don't think they look anything alike. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying like they have the same kind of vibe about them. Yeah, I see what you mean, actually. I see what you mean. That actually makes more sense now.
anyways, I see you guys all in here. So good morning. Let's see here. Who do we have? And just to say hi, I'm going to pull the screen on just to say hi to you guys so you guys can see I got that.
Brace yourselves.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Yes, it's dark in here. So there you go. Now you see why I'm not turning the screen on. I didn't put makeup on this morning. Oh, no makeup. Right. So TDD, nice to see you. Tracy, Melissa, Wendy May Rain. And you know what pisses me off? It's like, I think I know who the hell did it. It was the only person that had posted that. Like it was just too, I don't know, too clean. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess they waited until everybody knows I go to sleep freaking early.
Oh my God, dude.
But before we get started on
too clean,
the
y'all.
probable cause affidavit, which we covered.
It was too clean. The person who posted it, it was just too clean. Dude, the fact that you think that somebody hacked into your computer and that's all they did is hilarious to me. It's hilarious to anybody with common sense. Seriously, like nobody believes that someone hacked you. Like, even if I were to hack you and I were to troll you, I would do a lot more than that. I wouldn't shut you down, but I would just fuck with things. I would tweak things that just whenever you fucking went into it, you'd go, what the fuck? Not that I even know how to do that, dude. I can't even work my own fucking computer. But I'm saying if I were to have the knowledge to hack, okay, I would move things around just to fuck with you. I'd hide things in folders and I would do just shitty, stupid, like me. Okay. Once in a while, guys, we can give you a little example of like our, like me and the people I grew up with, our sense of humor. So I got this buddy, Jeremy. Sometimes he shows up in the chat and says hello. And we were at I think I told this story before, but we were at a 4th of July party. And we were there all day long and we were drinking all day long. And everyone, and it was a barbecue, and everybody had already, all the food had been put away and whatever, but it was like, it was the guitarist in my band's house. So we just kept going after everybody went home and after all the food was put away. And then everybody except me and Jeremy, they decided to leave and go get like Taco Bell and whatnot. And we were so drunk. Me and Jeremy were just sitting there in the living room, like sitting on the recliners on the couch. And Jeremy was just like this. And then he goes, "Hey, Will, did everybody just leave you and me alone in here?" And I was like, they sure fucking did, didn't they? And then Jeremy just goes, "Let's rearrange the furniture." Now, mind you, we had a fucking window of maybe between 5 and 10 minutes, depending. We knocked it out in 5. and we moved everything, and it was so difficult because I had never laughed so hard ever. Just the right, harmless fun. I would never do anything as a prank to hurt anyone, ever. Like if somebody actually genuinely got hurt in some way, even their feelings, I couldn't do that. Because I prank people that I love. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's usually normally what I do. I prank the people that at least I don't hate you. You know what I mean? At least I don't hate you if I prank you. You know what I mean? I'm not, if I hate somebody, I just don't want anything to do with them. So yeah, yeah, that's just the kind of thing that I would do. I would not, you know, so I don't see someone going through all of the trouble to like hack her computer, like figure out fucking break down passwords, you know, and then I'm in, and then write some dumb shit about JLR. It makes no sense. It just doesn't add up. So yeah, Betty, we're not buying it.
Covered yesterday, and it was pretty mind-blowing, but you guys know I was at my meetings. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. This was the last part of my meeting, and I want you guys to see it. If I can play it. Hold on. Here we go.
You're doing the same.
Last time onward. So you'll just have 3 minutes, ma'am. But please state your first name, your last name, and your county of residence, and you have 3 minutes.
Andrew Griffin, Manatee County residents. To bow down to them, I think it was more for
I cut some stuff out because it was more political and it's not on here.
You know, because this was happening all over the country, not just here. But it needs to be put back in its rightful spot. I am a generational here. This is a town that my family helped build, and that is, you know, you guys move forward with putting it back where it belongs, where it should have been, where it should never have been removed from. And we touched a little bit in the earlier part of this meeting about the rogue board we had and why each and every one of you guys are here today.
You got 3 minutes, Betty. Hurry it up.
Since we do have strategy, I guess this is where I should be interjecting what I was saying earlier.
Welcome, Blue Eyes Crying.
There are 3 major things that I'd like to do. Some that you guys can help me with, some that has to go up a little further up the food chain. And that is the cyber stalking laws. I think we need to have stricter cyber stalking laws here in Manatee County as well as across the state of Florida. We have a child welfare system that is broken. There is no centralized database for people.
See, right now, everybody, actually there is, but right now, everybody's sitting there kind of going, what the fuck are you talking about, lady? What does cyber stalking have to do with DFACS, with child services? What are you talking about? Welcome, Jaded 847.
To type in a number, if you're across state,
hold on.
And where it should never have been removed from. And we touched a little bit.
And this is all so she can tell herself that she's doing something productive, but yet there's nothing productive of what she's doing. She thinks that showing up and standing at some sort of, she thinks that showing up and standing in front of a podium where literally anybody is allowed to get up there and speak. Anybody can do that. They're allowed 3 minutes, and she thinks that she's doing something productive. But yet, when you listen to what she's saying, nothing of what she says matters at all. And I can't imagine being there and being like, okay, well, what do you propose we do about it? Okay, you're presenting this cyber bullying laws. Okay, so explain the issue and come up with a plan. Give us a plan. But instead, what she's doing is she's complaining to the manager. That's the political equivalent of asking for the manager and writing a complaint on a review card at Hardee's, except, you know, in her county.
In the earlier part of this meeting about the rogue board we had and why each and every one of you guys are here today. A couple other things, since we do have strategy, I guess this is where I should be interjecting what I was saying earlier, is there are 3 major things that I'd like to do. Some that you guys can help me with, some that has to go up a little further up the food chain. And that is the cyber stalking laws. I think we need to have stricter cyber stalking laws here in Manatee County as well as across the state of Florida.
Okay.
We have
Okay. Now, you know what I would love? I'd love for them to give her 15 minutes so that she can explain what she considers cyber stalking to these people. I would love to hear her explanation of that.
A child welfare system that is broken. There is no centralized database for people to type in a number. If you're across states, states don't even know how many times you've been seen by them over in Georgia. If you're now here in Florida, that has got to change. Our children are suffering.
Okay.
And the last thing is sexual.
What she's doing right now, basically what she couldn't do is, for some reason, place complaints about Billy Joe, Quentin's grandmother. What she wanted to do was across the states make complaints, legit complaints. And she basically couldn't use Google properly, and she actually could have done that. What I'm guessing happened is that she called them and they said, because you're not a resident of the state, you're not allowed to complain about parents. You have to talk to a resident of the state, which I don't think is true, but I could see that happening just to get her the fuck off the phone. Patricia Sell, thank you. In bed with Bull and Betty. Sama Post. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know why she thinks that what she's doing, first of all, this database already exists. So I don't know what she expects to get done here. But this is basically just her complaining. Basically, she couldn't use Google, and she has shit for researchers, and this is her way of being like, well, I'm going to change a law when, well, what you're asking for is already there.
Actual sex trafficking. Sex trafficking, I know James Thatcher is really in on his family, and it is a big problem here. And it's not here, it's across the world. We just had the FBI 10 most wanted found in Spain. Spain. This shows you that the money's there, that this is going forward, and these are things that we need to help. It's the betterment
Right.
for.
So what do you expect to get right there? She just totally fucking made her own argument against her. Okay, sex trafficking is a problem. Okay, first of all, yeah, we know. We got it. It's a major problem. But the fact that you just said that somebody that was a major priority in this problem and the war against it, that big win took place because this guy was actually found in Spain, found and recovered in Spain. And you just said, yes, the money's there. Yes, because the money is, you just proved that the money is properly being directed towards exactly what you're asking for. What is your problem? I don't understand what you're trying to do here, because it's already being done. So what she's doing, really, what this boils down to, is her standing in a public place trying to sound important and trying to sound like she's getting something done by talking about something that's already being done.
For this county, Florida, and abroad. Thank you.
Boom, baby, boom.
What?
So,
boom, baby,
that doesn't
boom.
show you that.
That
hold on,
what?
let me pull this back down. That doesn't show you right there that, you know, it's when you support this channel, you're supporting a lot more than just covering true crime. We see a glaring issue in a number of things. Since I have been,
I was standing someplace where anybody's allowed to stand if they had the fucking audacity to annoy people the way that I do.
on YouTube.
That's where your money goes.
I have watched the most despicable things happen. I have covered some of the most despicable things that have ever happened. So good morning, all. I see you guys here. Steffers, Heavens 57. The first TD Dean was the first to say good morning to Bullhorn Betty.
Shut up.
Brandy, nice to see you. Karen, maybe I'll find out. Ziva, Chadwell, you're in here. Being released as we spoke. So it was, you know, we opened it up, we reviewed it. Let me see if I can go ahead and pull that up now. Share screen, window. It's not allowing me to share that. So we'll do the entire screen. Shares. Okay, hold on, pull it up.
When you hand someone your logo sticker, you put your brand out into the world because stickers can travel anywhere. But the last thing you want is to make a bad first impression with a sticker that's hard to use.
I'm sitting there like, skip it, Betty.
And so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. There it is, the affidavit. All right. Let me share the screen. And we're going to go through it because I'm telling you, it was a little crazy.
You went through it yesterday.
Some of the information that we did find
See, that's what I want to know.
case.
Like,
And I
how
think
many
the
times?
most notable.
How many times are these people going to go over this affidavit? You know what I mean? Like, seriously. Like, it came out yesterday. We went over it. There's not a whole lot to talk about. Like, I understand the creators that like I said, they bring on experts or they have law enforcement experience and they want to focus on certain evidence and how strong they think that evidence is against against it not being so strong. I get all that. But I mean, then you get channels like this that are just going to go over it and over it and over it and just read the shit over and over and over again. And it's like, we got it, you know, like we got it. What are you trying to sleuth here? There's nothing to sleuth. Like that is the account. That is the account of the investigation that led them to his arrest. Beyond that, we're not going to know till trial. You know, I just don't get it.
Notable is the fact that, and it's almost scary and it almost pisses me off. I have to be honest. It almost pisses me off. Hold on, let me go over here real quick and reduce this. I don't know why it's not showing up on this side. Give me a second. I don't know why it's not showing up on that side, but we'll go ahead and just enlarge it. Let me pull this down.
Let me show you me.
So here we go. This is it. And can I enlarge this? Yeah. Just a little bit. There we go. Hopefully you guys can see it. But I think the most notable in this is the time. You know, we were told that these people, I think they told us a lot of misinformation because they knew this man was on their radar back in November.
Here's the thing,
he
though.
was on their radar back in November. I believe.
Yeah, but they didn't give us any misinformation. They just didn't tell you everything because you're not entitled to knowing everything. Neither am I, neither is anybody in your chat or my chat or anybody else's chat. Nobody is entitled to the details of an ongoing investigation. Period. I'm glad. I'm glad that they kept things close to the vest. Glad that they kept things out of the public. I'm glad that they were able to collect enough data to be able to have probable cause to charge this man with 4 counts of first-degree murder, as well as burglary, and arrest him. I'm glad that they did what they needed to do to get that done so that they can get a conviction. I don't understand why there's another way of looking at this. If people sit here and they end their live streams going, justice for the victims, we love the victims, justice for the victims. Well, if you love the victims and you want justice for those victims, well, guess what? You're going to let the cops do what they do and just leave shit alone. Because guess what? Here's the big problem. This girl, this DM girl, okay? Everyone talking about her more and more and more. deteriorates how strong of a witness, the chances of her being a strong witness, just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. Okay. And as far as we know, she's the star witness for the prosecution. She actually saw him. So rather than placing the blame on her for anything and giving her a hard time, rather than that, why not think of her as being a witness for the prosecution and thinking about how we as members of the public can make that easier for the prosecution if you want justice so bad. Okay. I don't know what this is. Should I even play it? I mean, it's only 3 minutes long. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Patricia Stell. Okay, so I don't know what this is.
Crazy. Can you believe some a-hole hacked my computer? I'm laying in bed sleeping and get a call from no other than JLR asking me, what the hell did I do to piss you off? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, he must be a fan. I gotta say, he must be a fan because he called me immediately. And so I went in there, and sure enough, there's a post. There's a post in my, and it's not just there. There was posts across several media. I don't know where all they were, but I got them all out. And there was something on my YouTube. There was something on my Facebook. And I'm like, holy crap. So passwords were changed. I don't know who the hell knows my passwords, but apparently somebody does. So yeah, I was
nobody has
too.
your passwords.
And mind
bro.
you, I was in bed and sleeping when my phone started blowing up. Like it wasn't just JLR, it was several people, but the only person that made it through was JLR because he's saved in my phone. So many of you guys know I set my my stuff up, and the phone doesn't ring unless you are a saved number in my phone. So that's great, at 11:30 at night or 10:30 at night, having to get up and go through and try to.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. The Exposure Arena is who made that video. Thank you. Yeah. This is where. All right. This one I saved for last. This is an old favorite.
Between
old canceled Karen, y'all.
12 and 4:20. Okay. So 8 minutes. 8 minutes is what I'm looking at, is my read on this. Okay. Unless they come out with something different. I mean, they're telling us she was using TikTok at 4:12. They have her at 4:12 using Xana. Okay.
So this is later in the day. At approximately 12:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe coffee stand located at 810 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage from U.S. Chef store located at 820 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington, and adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe showed a white Elantra consistent with suspect vehicle 1 drive past Kate's Cup of Joe at a time consistent with the cellular data from 8548 phone. At approximately 12:46 p.m., the 8458 phone then utilized cellular data in the area of Albertson's grocery store at 400 Bridge Street in Clarkston, Washington.
Surveillance footage obtained from the Albertsons showed Kurt Kohlberger exit
We already know. I don't
the
want
White
to
Elantra
read this
for your
bullshit. I
surveillance
just want to hear
and
your
leave at a
bullshit on it.
travel. Additional records 5:30 that provide point with traveled in the hour. Approximately 5 consistent with the phone being in the area covered. Disney profile obtained from the trash.
Right, hold on.
By 4:17. If he at approximately 4 a.m., she hears what sounds like Kaylee playing with her dog on the 3rd floor.
Thank you, Alpha David,
A
the
short
soy boy
time
killer.
after that, a short time after 4 a.m., Dylan says she hears Consalva say something to the effect of, quote, "There's someone here." But then they reviewed the records
A dramatic
on Kernodle's
pause.
phone, and then they surmised that this could possibly have been her that said that because she was using her TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m.
And
Dylan says at this point she looks out of her bedroom. She opens
See,
her door,
you see
looks
what I
out,
mean?
doesn't see anything.
You see what I mean? The difference between scrupulous channels and channels that do fucked up shit. One of the signs to look for right now is if they don't respect the redaction in the affidavit. Okay? You hear a channel that uses this girl's full name, then you know what you need to know about them, in my opinion.
When she heard the comment about someone being in the house. So at approximately 4 a.m. or 4:05 a.m., somewhere in there, she hears the comment about someone being in the house and she opens her door. She then opens her door a second time.
Thank you, Jade at 847.
When she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. Dylan then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Now, when they say something to the effect of, that doesn't necessarily mean that's what he said. That's just what Dylan heard. And now remember, she's hearing this coming from a different bedroom. So she may have misheard. Maybe he said, "I'm going to kill you." We don't know
What?
if that's exactly what was said. Then at approximately 4:17 a.m.
Okay, people, right now you're getting a first-rate look as to why this person was booted off of YouTube. Also, why she's being sued for $10 million. Okay? This is, yeah. This is the kind of thing that she does. Okay? Creates this narrative. You see what she's doing there? She's trying to create some sort of she's trying to plant some sort of seed there in thought and saying, well, maybe that's what she actually heard. And then her idiots subs, some of them are going to go into Facebook groups and go into Reddit and go into different places, right? And they're going to say, oh, well, that's not actually what she heard. She heard him say, "Kill you." This is what I'm talking about, folks.
So 5 minutes after Xana's using alive and using TikTok, a camera located at 112 King Road, which is immediately to the northwest of the sorority house, picked up a distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud.
Uh-huh.
A dog can also be heard barking numerous times, starting at 4:17. The security camera is less than 50 feet.
Sounds like a
from
murder
the
could have been
west
taking
wall
place.
of Kernodle's bedroom. So this tells me
What?
the murders began at 4:17.
Yeah, that's
This
what.
doesn't tell me in what order who was killed. But it tells me something began at 4:17.
No, because what you can discern, at least you could speculate who was first, because apparently the knife sheath was found next to Kylie and Xana, next to that bed. And if the knife sheath was found there, then it's possible, maybe even likely, that he unsheathed the knife and discarded it and then started with the two of them. But again, I mean, he could have just carried it with him, but why would he carry it with him? I think he would need both hands in order to perform a double murder. So, and I'm not even talking about a quadruple murder. I'm just talking about the first two. So yeah, that tells you more or less who would have been first.
Dylan stated she opened her door for the third time
next to Maddie.
After she heard the crying.
Maddie. Sorry, thank you.
And saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking toward her. She describes the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. He walks past her, past her room, as she's standing there in what she describes as a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door.
Right.
So let's go back. When is it she heard the crying?
Who cares?
Around 4:17.
What difference does it make?
She then locks herself in her room. And she didn't recognize the male. So investigators believe he was leaving the home by 4:17. So now I'm wondering if he... Let me see if I can put this to pieces together. So now I'm wondering if he was hiding in the house.
No.
So everything seems to be over by 4:17. Was Xana using her phone at 4:12?
Yeah. So what?
Xana gets the 4 a.m. delivery, food delivery from DoorDash. At the same time Xana's getting her DoorDash delivery, Kaylee's playing with her dog on the 3rd floor at 4 a.m.
And
Dylan hears a short time after that,
like,
Gonsalves say something to the effect of, "There's someone here."
She's just now, like, she's just reading the affidavit a lot slower. And she's acting like she's putting the pieces together. It's fucking hilarious.
But they're not sure if it was Kaylee or Xana who said this. Let's assume for a minute it was Kaylee.
Okay.
So Kaylee and Maddie presumably are killed closer to 4. And then the killer makes his way downstairs. And Xana and Ethan are the last to be murdered. If I'm to understand these timing, the times in the probable cause affidavit, if these statements by Dylan are true and accurate, I just don't see how he could have killed Xana and Ethan at 4:12 and then went up and killed Maddie and Kaylee and was out by 4:17. Why would he go back down to the 2nd floor?
Because that's where the exit was.
It seems to me he started on the 3rd floor, came down to the 2nd floor, and then boogied out at 4:17.
Because that's where the exit
So likely
was.
it started around 4 a.m. and was over by 4:17. And likely his victims were awake.
So
there's no way they could have been sleeping. Who eats? Who gets a DoorDash at 4 a.m. and then is sleeping? That's not even conceivable.
It is
These
conceivable.
people were
actually.
awake.
Since she's saying, now I agree that it's unlikely, but to prove that it's absolutely conceivable, we're talking about college kids who are worn the fuck out, who are just done partying. They're drunk. You know, dude, even Bullhorn Betty fucking woke up the other day with fucking chocolate all over her ass and no pants on. Like, and doesn't even know how that happened. She said it on a live stream. You don't think college kids are going to fucking get DoorDash? Like, I'm fucking hungry. Drunk as fuck. Like, you know how many times I've done that? And yes, I have passed out with food, like laying on my chest. I have totally done that. Like, many times when I was their age. Many times. It's not inconceivable at all. It's not even a little bit inconceivable.
They had to have been. At least Xana was. So this roommate.
I mean, do you know how much she ate? Do you know what she ordered and how much of it she ate, Karen? No, you don't. For all you know, she ordered the shit and passed the fuck out. Was like, you know what? I'll just fucking eat this shit tomorrow. Just passed right the fuck out. Perfectly conceivable. At 4 a.m. after drinking, absolutely conceivable that you would just fall asleep that quickly and that deeply.
Here's all of this commotion. She had to have heard the dog barking, but she may have assumed Kaylee was playing with it.
Right.
Okay. So she hears there's someone here. She hears whimpering and crying. And then she sees a masked intruder. And what does she do? She goes in her room, locks the door, and goes to sleep.
Yeah.
And doesn't call police until noon.
All right. So you guys can smell where this is going, right? Now, before I continue this, all right, because this is, I should, for those of you who are not familiar with canceled Karen here, she is notorious for victim blaming. Also, she is notorious for perpetrator sympathizing. She's notorious for both of these things, and she does it for shock value. She does it just because she thinks that she can fuck with people enough to convince them that her way of thinking, no matter what it is, she tries to play people like puppets because it entertains her. But the problem is that she doesn't have nearly the pool that she used to have on YouTube. Now she, you know, I mean, you look at this. This was posted 24 hours ago, basically, and it's got 3,000 views, right? But look, 3,000 views and 134 likes. Okay? Now, for every, I'd say a decent amount of likes, like, because a lot of people just don't even bother taking the time to like, you know what I mean? But I'd say that a decent amount of likes would be 100 to every 1,000, right? 100 to every 1,000 in the first 24 hours. I'd say that's decent, you know, sure. But she doesn't care about that. She's so desperate for attention that she will go against what everyone is saying here and and just try to piss everyone off. But I just like pointing her out because she's so insignificant now that she can't do anything. And the more that she grows, the more attention she's going to bring onto herself. And she's not, and it's just a matter of time too. What's funny is I also like to, I mean, the inevitable is going to happen. She's on the losing end of a $10 million lawsuit. She's just simply not showing up to court. So this stuff right here is somewhat harmful, but ultimately she's not a threat in any way, shape, or form. Not anymore. I just like to see a dying fish flip outside of the water.
And Brian Kohlberger is allegedly driving past the murder scene at 9 a.m. They believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25. They say that in part of this probable cause affidavit, but later on they say that he's departing at 4:20. So it's even tighter. So it's 20 minutes. So if he's our guy, this wasn't done in a Danny Rawlings type way or a Richard Speck or Ted Bundy where he took his time and glorified in the killing or enjoyed doing the killing or took his time taunting.
Okay. See, you see what she's doing there? She's trying to act like she knows so much about the case. But the fact of the matter is, folks, keep in mind, we don't know how many times these victims were stabbed. We don't know the extent of their wounds exactly. And, you know, we don't know the details. There's no way to measure how much time this took and whether or not it was possible or whether or not it was impossible to pull off because we don't have all of the details of the crime. We only have an account from DM, and we only have the surveillance footage and the cars and the car and the phone pinging. That's all we have. So, you know, as far as measuring a time frame, so we know we only know so much. There's just no way. And yes, simple life days, 10 minutes is a hell of a long time, I would imagine. You know, 10 minutes is you know, just count to 60. You know what I mean? Just 1 minute. Count to 60. That's plenty of time to stab someone to death. That's more than enough time to stab someone to death. 60 seconds? And there's a 10-minute window. We don't know what took place. We don't know if he even had time to sit there and hold them hostage and be like, yeah, I'm going to kill you motherfuckers, blah, blah, blah. He had enough time to do that. I'm not saying that's what happened. I don't even think that's what happened. But there's plenty of time.
Tormenting his victims. This was a very quick, very methodical bam, bam, bam. Multiple stab wounds.
Bam, 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 bam.
And he's out. Like stab wounds just to make sure they're dead. And he did it apparently without any of them screaming, yelping. And he killed 2.
Dude, the average schoolyard fight is like 30 seconds, right? The average schoolyard fight. You know how many licks you can get in 30 seconds? You know what I mean? So imagine stabbing and somebody's defenseless, you know?
In each room. And left his sheath behind in the upstairs room, Maddie's room on the bed.
We got that.
Again, I'm going to just go with the scenario that he had it hooked or in his pocket or something, and it fell out as he was leaning over Maddie. We know he's tall. He's the exact same size as my husband. My husband is 6 foot, 185. Exact same size. And so he's tall, he's got long arms. But he did this very rapidly, and the point was to kill them.
Yeah, we
The
know that
point
too.
wasn't to enjoy killing them. It seems it wasn't to spend time doing it, any length of time. It was just their deaths. Their deaths affect their deaths and get in and out. It's very, very bizarre.
It's not bizarre at all.
Now I want to
It all
remind you
adds up.
guys that
Nice and neat.
it
all adds up.
This is just
nice and neat. Nice and neat enough for them to have probable cause to charge and arrest. Okay? And it's all in detail. And it all adds up. The only inconsistencies are like what Gray Hughes found, which is like the detective meant to put Queen Avenue or Queen Street or Queen Road or whatever, instead of King or something like that. I don't know exactly, but little silly inconsistencies like that, but not when it comes to the timeline. There's nothing inconsistent. That's a huge basis of their reasoning for charging him.
Was just what was needed for an arrest. This is certainly not everything that they have. And as we speak, I promise you, they're going through his digital footprint. They're looking for possible motives, potential motives. Did he have a manifesto? Did he leave himself notes on his phone or do voice recordings on his phone? Was he in any websites or groups or anything? Because as I've been talking about, it seems really strange that these victims fit with what Elliot Rodger, known incel, misogynist rage killer, fascinated about, obsessed about killing blonde Stacy's or stuck-up bitches in their sorority. And certainly Kaylee and Maddie would fit the description of a Stacy, according to the incel.
You mean like you fit the description
And
of
Ethan would fit the description.
Like you fit the description of a Karen? Like that?
Of a Chad. And Xana's
The description of a Chad. Jesus Christ.
Would probably be a Stacy as well, seen as a Stacy by the incels.
Why are you so dumb, Kay?
And so let me go back and make sure that I'm tying everything up together.
Yeah, tie it up. Let's see.
So they've got his vehicle at approximately, so the early morning hours, they have him, the first sight of him at approximately 3:26 a.m.
And no respect for these victims at all. No respect at all. Just chalking them up to, blonde, objectified women. You know what I mean? Just that's it. Just no respect at all for these women that were on their way to do something with their lives that Karen could never even get to do. It's ridiculous.
So actually it starts at 3:29. He gets there around 3:29.
What?
And then he makes his final where he parks at 4:04. And at 4:04 is when he can be seen trying to find somewhere to park. He unsuccessfully tries to park in front of the King Road residence. And then he turned around and did a 3-point turn and went back down Queen Road.
She's not even supposed to be Richard Jacobs. Like, she had her channel taken from her. And then she just started this other one. And she's eligible for monetization, but I wonder why she hasn't monetized her channel. It's because she wants to stay under YouTube's radar.
So 404 is when he parks, and 420 is when he leaves at a high rate of speed. So this closes it even further. So 404 is when he parks. So no, he wasn't hiding in the. Okay, so 404 is when he parks. And you got to account for the amount of time it takes him to get into the residence, whichever his point of entry is. So he's parking at around the same time as Xana's getting her DoorDash delivery.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, so what?
And then the next time it's seen is departing at 420 at a high rate of speed.
Right.
So he's seen leaving. He's,
like one would do in a panic after they just killed 4 people. Something like that.
Dylan sees him leaving at 417 and his car is speeding away at 420. And cameras pick him up parking at 404. So consider the amount of time it takes him to get in the house and get into the rooms where he's going.
If the door's unlocked, like less than 5 seconds.
So 404, but had to take him at least a couple minutes to get inside the house.
No, because there was no forced entry.
So this tightens it even more.
So you when there's no forced entry,
probably got in the house.
What you do is you open the door. Let me do that one more time. When there's no forced entry, this is how long it takes to get into the house. That's it. That's how long it takes. It's not a couple of minutes. It doesn't take a couple of minutes to open, walk through, close. Doesn't take a couple of minutes.
The house at 408. Couple minutes to get him to get in. 408, 409, and he's done and everybody's murdered by 417. What the fuck? And they're all awake per this probable cause affidavit. Again, I want to remind you, this is not everything they have. It was just what they needed
to arrest him.
Get an arrest,
yes,
of him and get him in custody so that they can, this is like they said,
right?
This begins investigating him and trying to figure out a motive and obviously they want to know why he did this. That's primary. Like, why did he do this?
What is your point?
And how did he do this so quickly? And why did he
didn't do it that quickly.
Car?
Dude, 408 to 420. It's
almost like he made sure to do this before he knew he was going to be transferring the plate.
Dude, that's 12 minutes. 408 to 420.
He'd been driving around
minutes.
prior to this with a Pennsylvania plate on his car. And then 5 days after this, on the 18th of November, he went and had that plate changed after living there a year and a half and had the plate changed to Washington plates.
And
then, a little under a month later was getting his car out of there, driving his car back to Pennsylvania with Washington plates on it, with his dad, whose DNA is on the knife sheet.
Actually, yeah, I question that too. Like, I mean, if you're doing if you're gonna kill somebody and you're planning it, you don't drive your own car there. Like, that's silly.
Allegedly. If I'm reading that correctly. I mean, I'm not sure how else to take that about the DNA on the knife sheet, the DNA they pulled from the trash. Do they not have his DNA at the scene? If his DNA is not on the knife sheath, that's a problem.
It
if
is,
his
though.
DNA is nowhere at the scene, that's going to be.
Did you read the same thing that the rest of us read? The DNA is on the knife. Yeah, they found DNA on the knife sheath. And then they got DNA from dad from the garbage at dad's house and matched the DNA to him being a 99.999998% chance of no other two people being father and son. Like, that's what they did. What are you talking about? What do you mean? How did you miss that there? Okay, really?
It's going to be a problem. I don't care what they have his car doing. If they don't have his DNA at all, and again, I don't know because this isn't.
Now she's looking at her chat.
Everything that they.
Wait, let me see if her chat is like. Yeah, her chat's even correcting her. Look.
They spend a lot of time on the movements of his car.
Like her mod is going, no, Kay, it's Brian's DNA.
To and fro.
His DNA on Sheath.
The murder scene.
And then this idiot, no, you're reading it correctly.
And how they determined it was his car.
Like,
I'm going to scroll back down to
listen to your mods.
when they have him returning.
Listen to your mods. They're trying to tell you, idiot, that DNA was found. I mean, before, dude.
Doop. So,
Karen, before the affidavit was released, they publicly said that they had his DNA, that they found his DNA on a piece of material at the scene. That's what they said. What are you talking about? How do you not know that?
Between 3 and 5 a.m. All right. November 13th at approximate place at 9:32 a.m.
All right, I don't want to hear her read this whole thing.
They told us they were ambushed in their sleep. No, they were not. The home. So she goes and gets her DoorDash delivery and what? Takes it back to her room? And is eating? She had to have been awake when she was murdered. You don't eat when you're sleeping. And very few people eat and then immediately go to sleep.
Not if you're drunk.
I mean, it just defies common sense. So she gets her DoorDash delivery, goes back to her room.
Dude, you know how many times?
And is what immediately?
You know how many times I've seen Kay sloshed on her channel, just fucking lushed flat. You know how many times I've seen that? Now I've done it. I'm not knocking her for it. I'm saying, you know how many times I've seen that? I guarantee you that one of those nights at least she passed out with fucking food all over herself. I guarantee you, I've seen her that fucking drunk on her streams. Like, don't tell me that you have never fucking passed out MGL style with fucking food all over yourself, Karen, because nobody believes that shit. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I just see you just fucking just pass the fuck out with fucking fucking half a croissant hanging out of your mouth.
Immediately killed? The food would be in there. So why did they tell us that they were all ambushed in their sleep? This isn't
I got a Cash App just now, but it has somebody's like real name, so I don't want to say, but thank you for the Cash App, person who sent it. Appreciate it.
Sleeping ambush.
Say
people were
Lisa,
killed while they were awake.
First name.
I mean, I can't say for sure if Maddie and Kaylee were awake, but it sounds like they were. And nobody, and again, nobody heard any. Dylan didn't hear any screams. She didn't hear the dog barking.
Okay.
It's
Here we go. Here we go into the victim blaming again. See, maybe it was normal for that dog to bark. And she said herself that it was possible that Kaylee was playing with the dog, right? When I play with my dogs, they bark. You know what I mean? And we don't know to what capacity of a guard dog this dog is. Is it just going to bark when there's an intruder, or is it going to bark when it's being played with? Or does it just fucking bark? You know? So, I mean, yeah, she said she heard barking, and so what?
Very bizarre.
Bizarre.
It's not making any sense.
It's making perfect sense.
I think I'm going to probably read this probable cause affidavit another 2 or 3 times because it's not making any sense. And
it's not making sense because you don't know how to read it, because you read it wrong. You proved to everybody that you read it wrong because you actually missed the key part where they actually found his DNA on the button of the sheath of the knife. You knew that the sheath was left behind, but even in that little section where they said that the sheath was left behind is where they state that his DNA was found on the button, and you missed that detail. Since you're picking it apart so meticulously, you actually missed that? Really?
And how convenient that there's a gag order and they don't have to explain any of these inconsistencies.
Oh, yeah, because it's a big conspiracy. Yeah, that real good logic there, BHB. For Panda, thanks, Grandmaster Sisyphos. She's spoiled. She's so spoiled. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, BHB, that's real. It's real good logic there, that there's a conspiracy, that there's now a gag order, and that gag order was designed just so they don't have to explain to you the details of their investigation. Right, Karen. Exactly, Karen.
They told us they were ambushed in their sleep. No, they were not. This is an 8 to 9 minute kill window.
Okay. I don't recall them at any point specifying that, and I'm talking about law enforcement, I don't recall them specifying that they were asleep at the time. They were in their beds, but it was not specified whether or not they were asleep. There's no way to know that. So what are you talking about?
One guy, one perp, who idiotically left his sheath behind and idiotically used his car. He's a PhD.
Almost, but yeah.
And he used his own car.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Parked in front of the house.
I agree with you on that too.
Risked being seen by the DoorDash guy.
Right.
Allowed his car to be picked up on multiple cameras.
Right. Not the sharpest.
Went back at 9. Got lucky enough that the roommate didn't call 911. I mean, that's some lottery type luck.
I mean,
that she didn't call 911.
That doesn't mean anything. Okay, see, here's the thing about that. What people don't seem to understand, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to keep saying it as long as assholes like this keep victim blaming and putting shit on this poor DM girl. Now, we don't know the circumstances as to why she didn't call 911 exactly, but it was of no consequence that she didn't call 911. It was of no consequence because no one else was victimized after the fact, and he was caught. Period. It's a moot point to discuss why she did not call 911 until the next day. It is an absolute moot point. And if you're implying that she was in on it, because that's kind of what she's implying here. Oh, it's lottery luck. It's lottery luck that she didn't call 911 until almost noon the next day. That's her little way of implying that she could have been in on it. Why would she even tell the police that she saw somebody if she was in on it? She could have just simply said, I was in my room the entire time, had my earbuds in, didn't hear a fucking thing. Because anybody who was in on something like that would do that. They would not admit, well, I saw somebody. Could you please catch the guy that could testify against me and throw me under the bus as a conspirator? Can you please? This is what he looks like. This is what I saw. Nobody does that. No. So anybody who's implying that this poor young girl had anything to do with this death, that right there cancels that theory out. She's an eyewitness.
Call 911 right away. Because this would look pretty different had she called 911 right away. Had she called 911 right away, they may have been able to stop him. 911, I have a masked intruder in my home.
She saw him on the way out. He walked past her and went out the door, according to her statement to law enforcement. Okay? No, she could not have prevented the murders by calling 911 at that point. The murders had already taken place. That simple. So no, she could not have prevented the murders. The murders had already taken place. She froze, he walked past her and walked out the door. That's what happened, according to her.
I heard my roommate say, somebody's here. I physically saw him with a ski mask exiting the sliding glass door of my residence. It's 4:17. We know that were.
Here's the thing is, again, it's pointless, okay? Because the argument is, could they have caught him faster? Could they have caught him earlier? Sure. Maybe. Possibly. But again, moot point. Because it was of no consequence. They have him now, and nobody has been victimized that we know of since. Period. So, to just beat down this girl after what she's already dealing with, and let me also make another point. This girl is going to be likely a star witness for the prosecution, meaning that she is going to have to sit there on a stand while the person who allegedly murdered her 3 friends sits there and stares at her. And all of those feelings being stirred up, all of those feelings and all of those memories being stirred up right there. He has to sit there. She has to sit there with this guy just blaring into her eyes. And that's not right. So can't we have, especially since we're sitting here and you're not even taking into consideration that the legal part of that, the dangers that you could taint that witness. The more you beat down this person all over the internet and you start blaming her and you start throwing shade at her and insulting her and you know, the more that you do that, the more you risk her saying, you know what, I'm not even going to testify. I'm too scared. I'm too shaken up. I'm done with this. I don't want anything to do with this anymore. Now, obviously, they can subpoena her, but why not just have some empathy for her and know that you've never been in that situation and you have no idea how you would react in that situation? And hopefully that she stays strong to give a good, solid testimony that will get this fucking prick locked up for good. I mean, Why wouldn't we all have that common sense, that mindset of this is going to be a witness? She's one of the best chances of making sure that this guy never sees the light of day again and he never has a chance to hurt anyone else. Why not show her support? Why attack her? If you want justice for these victims so bad, why are you attacking her? She's too intricate to the case. Yeah, and I just shut that down, Cherry. I know people are fucking idiots. Look, the new rumors that she's BK's girlfriend and that they were in on it together. I hate people sometimes. I agree. And I already shut that down. There's just no way. You know, why would she say that she saw somebody? She could easily just say that she was in her room with the door closed, didn't hear a damn thing. And that's it. She could have easily done that. But she didn't. She cooperated, told the police what she knew, despite the scrutiny that she could get.
Were cops patrolling that area all night long. So they were everywhere. There was underage students being pulled over for alcohol, you know, within an hour. So we know that police were there in that area and could have responded very, very quickly had she called 911. They probably could have been there within 2 minutes because their patrols are right in that area. We know that the underage alcohol incident was like behind the house. I mean, they were within footsteps, patrolling officers. So they could have been there immediately.
How do you know that? How do you know where officers were?
I mean, this is lottery type
within
luck
footsteps.
That she didn't call 911.
It's not lottery type luck.
And I need to know why she didn't call 911.
You don't need to know why. It's none of your fucking business why this person chose to do what she did or didn't do. You are nobody for anybody to have to answer to, Karen. Secondly, this is a college house shared by 4 college students. Well, 3 college students. One was just visiting. But 3 college students share this house where there are parties all the time. People are in and out of there all hours of the night, all hours of the day. It's wintertime. Some people still are doing COVID. Don't ask me why, but some people are still, it doesn't matter, question why or why not, but people, whether you like it or not, people are still doing COVID, especially in a college town. Guaranteed. Okay? So it's not unusual to see somebody wearing a neck gaiter and walking out of the house. Now, I understand if she said, okay, well, he had a knife in his hand and blood was dripping off of it. That's different. Okay? But other than that, it just seems, yeah, doing COVID, Cherry. Yeah, exactly. Like either you're doing COVID or you're not. We don't do COVID here. We just don't do it. But yeah, I mean, there's for all intents and purposes, for all we know, she could have been on a hallucinogen. She just came back from a party, no? So she could have been on mushrooms. She could have been on Molly. She could have been on God knows what. And then seen that and just been like, you know what? I'm just going to go to my room. I don't know what kind of weird, freaky shit my roommates are into, but I'm just going to go to my room. The last thing that anybody's going to think of, okay? The last thing that any rational person is going to think of is that somebody was just in my house and killed all of my roommates and one of their boyfriends. That's not going to happen. No rational person is going to jump to that conclusion. Oh my God, there's a psycho killer in my house. As soon as somebody of rational type thinking comes to that conclusion, they dismiss it immediately and go, you know what? You're watching too many fucking movies. Go to sleep. perfectly understandable. Many, many reasons as to why this poor girl did not call 911. Could have been she just didn't want to fucking panic and bother anybody. Because no logical, rational person is going to jump to the conclusion that their roommates and their boyfriend and one of their boyfriends was just knifed to death in their beds. There's no way somebody's just going to jump to that. So, I mean, you know, to sit there and criticize, well, why didn't she call 911? Because it's probably not uncommon to see some fucking rando walk through her fucking hallway with a neck gaiter on, walking out the door at all hours of the night. It's probably not uncommon in a house like that. I'm telling you, me personally, I probably, if I was like on hallucinogens, I would have been like, I'm going to my room, man. I don't know what the fuck you people are doing. That's not my problem. I'm going to bed. You know, all the other stuff, you know what I mean? Like her hearing somebody say, I'm going to take care of you. Who knows? You know what I mean? Maybe they were all on hallucinogens, right? Maybe they were all on them. And then she was just hearing somebody like talk somebody down. Don't worry, I'm going to take care of you. Everything's going to be okay. And you come to that conclusion. There's a number of reasons why somebody would say that. I mean, it's crazy to sit here and blame this poor girl for anything.
I mean, we know from Kaylee's dad, which again, I give him a lot of grace and latitude because he's in shock and he's grieving, but he has said that the coroner, Kathy Maybott, said to him, well, these weren't injuries where they would have slowly bled out. And I've always thought that was very quizzical that she said that. So it's almost like law enforcement were trying to preemptively explain away the fact that 911 call was not made. And well, oh, it doesn't, you know, it wouldn't have made a difference, essentially, is what, you know, they didn't slowly bleed out. Well, we don't know that. I don't know.
What do you mean? Yeah, of course you don't know that. You know who does know that? Fucking law enforcement. Of course they know that. They know that because they were there. You have blood spatter experts. You have crime scene investigators who have all different types of jobs to study whether or not the stab wounds would have caused a splatter, would have caused profuse bleeding, would have caused slow bleeding, whether somebody fucking died before they had a chance to bleed out, whether their heart stopped beating and pumping blood before they're, you know, I don't mean to get so grim here, folks, but there's, I'm just trying to illustrate the point that what she's talking about is absolute nonsense. Because of course, law enforcement has people there that can analyze that. Even in the affidavit, there's somebody whose job it is just to simply look at and look for imperfections, strange characteristics in a vehicle. That's his job. His whole fucking job at the FBI is to find small differentiating characteristics in a vehicle. Patricia Sell, thank you. I can't stand this person. I agree. I mean, so you're telling me that there's not these people in the in crime scene investigations that study the wounds, autopsy, all of that shit that can't fucking determine whether or not this person would have bled out a lot or not? I mean, and what's fucked up is I know she knows better. This is just her just being a fucking asshole. She's trying to piss people off. She wants to stir the pot by disrespecting victims and disrespecting and creating a narrative that's going to point fingers at this poor girl, DM.
Don't know that because I don't know the extent of their injuries.
They do.
So I don't know. if there was a chance any of them
You
could have
don't-
survived.
You don't matter.
If 911 hadn't been called right away, an aid could have been rendered. I don't know that because there's the
Right.
again with the inconsistencies, and I want to give law enforcement the benefit of the doubt that a lot of these inconsistencies are because they didn't want to tip off their suspect. But there has been from the start a lot of inconsistencies in what they told the public. So
No, there
they
isn't.
first told the public, well, this is targeted and we don't believe there's a threat to the public.
Right. Yeah. It was obviously targeted because of the phone pings. The phone pings absolutely indicate that he targeted that house. So
But now
no, I don't.
with the reading of this probable cause affidavit,
Simple Life Days, no, I don't believe that she believes what she's saying. No, I don't. No, I don't. I think that because I've heard her analyze cases before. I've heard her analyze cases and I've heard her make a lot of sense. Okay. What I'm not going to do, I mean, I'll call her stupid because she does stupid things, but she's not like BHB stupid or MGL stupid. Okay. She knows what she's doing. She's just gotten to a point to where now her shtick is obvious and it doesn't work anymore. People are onto it. You know what I mean? Now people just see that she's just a shitty human being that thrives off of controversy. But that's it. You know, before it was just like, oh my God, because she was really good. I used to troll this one dude. He's a friend of mine, and he was a coworker. And while we were at work, I mean, I would just troll this motherfucker all day during the shift. And to the point to where he would like, you know, and want to get physical with me. It's really funny. And then I'd just be like, Joe, chill. And then he would just be like, and I would basically try to, I would have this guy doubting whether or not he was racist. Now, he's not a racist at all, but because he only dated black girls, I would use that and I would just get these thoughts and just run with these thoughts, knowing that I don't believe what I'm saying, knowing that he's not a racist and he's a good-hearted dude. But it was a preference. He just, a lot of white girls only date black guys. It's a preference. It's a thing. But I was fucking with his head and telling him why that was racist when it's not racist. But I did it just to completely and totally fuck with him. Now in all fairness, I would always just be like, dude, I don't fucking think that. Like, calm down, dude. I'm just fucking with you, And yet, even after I would do that, I would start the shit again like 2 days later, and he would always fall for it, And it was but it was in good fun, That's the equivalent of her doing that, but actually using it as content for her channel and actually making money off of it by people joining her Patreon and people cash apping her and people PayPaling her. This is what she does. She will just spin an insane narrative and use a lot of word salad to try to make it sound like it makes sense. And that's all she's doing here. She's just going the opposition and then say that it's critical thinking when it's not at all. It's just a bunch of bullshit that she's spinning.
Affidavit, we have a masked intruder who couldn't be identified, who was eyewitnessed, who murdered 3 people in 8 to 9 minutes, which is lethal speed. Insane speed.
It's
like Roadrunner speed.
Really?
But yet there's no threat to the public? What is it that led them to believe that this was targeted?
Okay, so Kay thinks that that the Flash is stabbing people, and because this flash of superhuman speed has stabbed 4 people, well, then he's an absolute danger to the public. He could be a danger to the public, but at no point did law enforcement say, hey, don't fucking watch your back. You know, they were like, dude, travel in pairs, just use your common sense to try to stay safe. But we believe this was targeted. We don't believe that there's a danger to the public, but of course there's always a chance that something could happen. So there's no reason why you shouldn't take precautions, and you shouldn't lock your doors, and you shouldn't, you know what I mean? At no point did they go, well, don't worry about it. You know, fucking Quicksilver's out there with a knife, you know, but don't worry about it. That's not what happened. That's not what happened.
That's certainly not in the probable cause affidavit. So hopefully someday we learn that what led them to believe it was targeted. Because if I'm law enforcement and I'm coming to the scene, I'm Brent, and I'm coming to the scene and I'm seeing these 4 people that have been murdered, and I'm deducing that it was done in 8 to 9 minutes, I am not going to tell the public there's no threat. I'm going to be telling the public, yes, there is.
Right.
A threat.
Because that's what a Karen would do, is try to put everyone in an unnecessary panic. The responsible thing to have done, to do, which is what was done, which was, hey, you know, yeah, no, we think this was targeted. We don't think that we have no reason to believe there's a random serial killer out there, but we do believe this was targeted, and just simply use your common sense to try to stay safe. Travel in pairs, lock your doors, so on and so forth. I mean, that's the extent of their responsibility in that.
A threat. We don't know who this guy is. And he's like the Night Stalker. He was in and out with lethal precision and murdered 4 people on his own. So yes, this is a dangerous person. The probable cause does not elucidate at all what led responding officers, or this investigator, this corporal, to determine it was, quote, targeted.
What are you talking about?
If anything, they had every reason to believe that this was random.
How is it random if he was seen, if he was pinged, if his phone pinged numerous times at that address prior to the night of the 13th or the morning of the 13th? How are you sitting here saying that this was random and that they didn't have a good reason to say that it was targeted when the phone pinged, I think it was like, what, 3 times before that date? And since late June. Of course it was targeted. That right there indicates beyond a reasonable doubt that it was targeted. Wow.
And there was very much a risk to the public that he could strike again in the wee hours of the
12
morning.
times it pings. Thank you. Sorry.
In a very sneaky, stealthy way. So I'm not learning anything that this was targeted. That's another thing that's very alarming to me, that's been inconsistent with what law enforcement have said.
No, it's not. It's not inconsistent at all.
We now know why there was all the fixation on the knife. It's because they had the sheath. So of course they wanted the knife. They want to match it to the sheath, because then, you know, that's another step in them proving who did it. So I'm very, why 911 call? Why the 911 call at noon? They're holding that close to the vest for some reason. For some reason, they don't want the public hearing that. 911 not being called until, 8 hours after one of the occupants of the home eyewitnesses a masked intruder.
They're not playing that close to the vest. It's not that they're playing the fact that, or as to why 911 wasn't called until noon the next day. They're not playing that close to the vest. They're just not telling you because it's none of your fucking business. That's why. It's nobody's fucking business. Like, it's that's literally what it boils down to. It's nobody's fucking business as to why 911 wasn't called until the next day. It was of no consequence whatsoever. So it doesn't matter. It's a moot point.
I mean, so many things are going through my head. Was Dylan on drugs? Was
Probably.
she drunk?
Yeah, probably.
Was she high?
Probably.
Why didn't she call 911? Why?
Why?
Makes no sense to me. All right, let's get to, I have some updated information about, you remember in the body cam footage stop of Brian and his dad in Indiana, where his dad just blurts out and offers this story to this Indiana.
Okay, wait. Are we implying now that Dad Koberger is involved in some way, shape, or form? Is that what we're doing now, Karen?
Highway officer about this. Brian's dad refers to it as a mass shooting, which doesn't appear as though it was. It was a standoff. Okay. And I touched on this the last couple of nights, and I have some updated information about who and possibly what happened with that. So that was on the 15th. So this would have been 3 days after Brian and his dad left Pullman, Washington. This incident occurred. Okay. So, well, it actually began in the early morning hours of Thursday, December 15th. So the Whitman County Coroner's Office released the identity of a man who was killed by a SWAT team in an overnight standoff in Pullman last week. Brent L. Kopaka, 36, was shot and killed by the Whitman County Regional SWAT team in the early morning hours of Thursday, December 15th. So the incident began on the 14th. On Wednesday, the 14th, near the Washington State University campus. The coroner's office said on Monday, police responded to a call for a weapons offense the night before at an apartment building on the 1000 block of Latah Street, according to a police statement. The man barricaded himself in the apartment after police attempted to make contact. The man fired his gun from the apartment after the SWAT team and crisis negotiators arrived at the scene. The WSU campus went on lockdown as a result of the incident. And then I've also got
totally unrelated
for you.
So why is it suspicious that the dad would bring that up? Maybe the dad just watches a lot of the news, and then he saw that the fucking story was interesting because his son goes to that school. So he asked the cop like something about it. Maybe he was just using it to make small talk with the cop. I mean, you've never made small talk with a cop just to try to get out of a ticket. You know what I mean? Sit there and kiss the guy's ass and be like, oh, some crazy shit there yesterday, huh? You know what I mean? Like, dude, they were clocked going 110. You know? Of course, they're going to try to talk themselves out of it. I mean, it's just these idiots always try to make something out of nothing. You know what I mean? Like, that is nothing. That's just fucking some dude like hoping to talk his way out of a fucking ticket. That's it. Everyone gets nervous when the cops pull them over.
This is the 36-year-old who was involved in the incident. And he was a U.S. Army veteran. And the obituary goes on to say that he proudly served in the U.S. Army from 2005 to 2009.
Look at this. This has nothing to do other than the school and that his dad mentioned it. This has nothing to do with the case at all.
In the 2nd Battalion, the 508th Parachute Infantry Regiment, 4th Brigade, demised me in their team arrived. He attempted to shoot at the SWAT team, and they ended up shooting and killing him. 36-year-old U.S. Army veteran who had been battling PTSD. It's heartbreaking. Like,
it is,
you know,
that is heartbreaking. But
so
what
it
the fuck does this have to
intersects
do?
with
No,
with
it doesn't intersect.
the murders
No,
of
it doesn't.
the 4 students.
No, it
This is
doesn't.
a sad
You
case.
see, you see what she's doing here. Now she's just trying to like milk, you know, respect for our troops. And this, I'm not going to explain how it intersects with the 4 murders, but I'm going to say that it intersects anyway. Just, you know, so you guys I can pull on your heartstrings.
In and of itself that sort of intersects with it, and it's
No, it
interesting
doesn't.
that Brian's dad
No, it's
mentions
not.
it.
No, it's not interesting.
When they get stopped by police. I'm not sure why he mentions it, because
Small talk.
they were long gone before the incident even occurred, other than, like I said, Brian
probably
was
heard it on the radio.
receiving alerts on his phone from WSU being on lockdown.
Maybe.
And so that may have just been something that they were talking about.
Yeah.
As they were driving.
Right.
So, all right, I'm going to hop over to the probable cause affidavit, and then I'm going to hop over to you guys. And if you have any questions out, but they're the question. Anybody wants to throw to the probable cause affidavit, his DNA was on the button.
Oh, she got it.
The sheath.
We got it. There we go.
And allegedly,
She's caught
according
up.
to my read of the probable cause affidavit, Dad's DNA was also on the sheath.
No, it wasn't. Oh my God.
But let's get back to this real.
Hold on, I gotta play that one more time because I can't believe my fucking ears.
Really tight sheet. Probably to the WSU police. Alan Peters, according to the probable cause affidavit, his DNA was on the button of the sheath.
Right.
And allegedly, according to my read,
Your read.
of
Okay.
the probable cause affidavit, Dad's DNA.
Okay. You heard her say it. She specifically said that this is how she interpreted the affidavit. Okay. She is saying clearly that she interpreted the affidavit as saying that that Brian's father's DNA was found on the sheath. Okay.
Dad's DNA was also on the sheath. But let's get back to this really tight timeline. Who is intrigued as me by the fact that we're talking about an 8 or 9 minute? Is that even possible for someone to stab 4 people in 2 separate rooms on 2 separate floors? That's right, Misty. The DNA was the father of the. Yes.
Oh my God. No, it wasn't. Oh my God.
I mean,
I want to see her chat correcting her. Let me see if I can see that.
So yeah, I mean, Nicole Eichelberg, thank you for joining on Facebook. That's a good point. So Nicole is saying, in her opinion, he was in the house already, and the car was driving around waiting for him. Now we know that law enforcement has said that they believe there was no accomplice and that Brian is the only guy. However, the movements of the car, according to the probable cause affidavit, show that the car finally found a parking spot at roughly 4 in the morning, and the murders were done by 4:17. So I think that that's a good theory, Nicole, that somebody else was driving the car.
Wow. That's a stupid theory.
Now, in
That's
terms
a
of him
ridiculously
asking,
dumb
there's
theory.
been no confirmation of that. So that's still just a rumor. There is zero confirmation of that, of him asking that.
Jules. Thank you, Jules.
And Kelly, what I would be hoping from that treasure trove is some sort of manifesto or motive, like we had in the Elliot Rodger case. Misty Day says he was in and out in less than 10 minutes. So Misty Day, with that in mind, with him getting in and out in less than 10 minutes, what could a possible motive be in your mind?
Oh my God, the motives all over the place. There's a lack of one. The only evidence that we have right now for a motive, the only thing that makes sense is that he was somebody who just wanted to know what it was like to kill someone. And I think that he was studying criminology because he was trying to understand his own pattern of thinking, and use it to be able to get away with murder. That's what I'm sticking to until the trial comes out.
From Pullman to Moscow is roughly 15-minute drive. How is it I guess a thrill kill maybe, but that quickly?
Yeah. It wasn't that quick. Dude, 12 minutes is a long time.
Again, I have to remind everyone, if whether or not he asked if someone else had been arrested has never been independently confirmed. And the only source I can find of it is Daily Mail, courtesy of this. That's the same trash rag who told.
Yeah, Brian Enton said it, but he said that somebody told him that, if I remember correctly.
Told us that he was exposing himself and threatening to stab people, which we know is a lie because the Pennsylvania authorities have come out and said he was a model prisoner.
I'm aware, Jules. Member for 2 months, Emily Flotilla. Welcome. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm aware. I've been watching a lot of these experts talk about this case. And yeah, you're right. Also, Mystery Maven was on Ikadmel's channel, and she was saying the same thing, that, a motive helps, but you don't need motive, really. If you can, prove that the person did it, period. You know what I mean? You don't need motive to be able to do that. It helps, but you don't need it.
Prisoner. The other roommate, we don't know a whole lot about from the probable cause, but she was on the ground floor level in her own bedroom. Yes, presumably sleeping. They believe the homicides occurred between 4 and 4:25. However, he was seen leaving at 4:17. If Dylan's eyewitness account can be counted on. All right, Alan Peters, the FBI.
If it can be counted on. Now, it's true. If it turns out that she was under the influence of anything, I mean, the defense can shut her down as a credible witness. I mean, she's probably, that's definitely a lack of credibility there. You know, were you drinking? Have you been drinking? Yes. Well, then you can't entirely be sure of what you saw.
FBI said it was a frenzied attack, which, okay, I can get on board with. What's the motive?
You don't need a motive.
He goes back the next morning at 9, possibly Douglas Hill, because he's wanting to see if police are on the scene yet. And he probably was shocked that they weren't on the scene. And also, possibly, he knows he left the sheath. He probably got home. Okay. You know, you want to try as best as you can to put yourself in the shoes of the killer. So to commit a crime of that nature, you've got to have a lot of adrenaline going through you.
You've got to know the difference between 1 minute and 12 minutes. Shay B, thank you so much. My favorite channel for dragging these idiots through the mud. Thanks for always bringing the laughs. Will Mods in chat. Thank you for being here, Shay B. You know we love you. You know we love you.
Your testosterone is racing, your heart, your blood, everything is pumping, racing. Your brain is going in a million different directions. There's been some speculation he was on methamphetamines, so that could have contributed to how quickly he was moving, that he was on speed. We are hearing,
because when you're on speed, it gives you super speed.
in dribs and drabs, some reports from neighbors that he always came back late, left early. So this is a guy, it sounds like, wasn't sleeping a lot.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Possibly Adderall.
Yeah, possibly Adderall. I mean, when you're studying to get a PhD, you're probably not getting a lot of sleep, especially if you're doing well in school.
Possibly methamphetamines. Lori M, I've not seen anything confirming the amount of stab wounds. So that's going to be another really interesting point, is how many times was each victim stabbed? We know that a lot of the information that we've gotten, Doodah, he's been there since August 2021.
Doodah.
So he's been there more than 4 months.
Doodah.
Are we still trying to tie Ina and Harsh?
Adderall doesn't give you superpowers. Do not move
Well,
any quicker.
let me
Some of the mind feels slow.
let me go
motion
back
them.
to
Right.
my messages with Catherine, because
Well, that's what Adderall is designed to do.
I want to make sure
Adderall is an ADHD medication. So Adderall is designed to slow down those with ADHD. It's what it's designed to do. Now, for those who don't have ADHD, it does have the opposite effect. But it's not going to give you super speed.
that I have accurate information.
You haven't given any accurate information so far.
End of life. She's a fucking liar. She's
All right, let's see what this is.
I mean, him being there since August 2022 versus 2021 makes sense with the car change title, I suppose. But where is the 54 coming from? 54 stab wounds. Where is that coming from?
Yeah, I see where she's going with this, and I agree with her. Yeah, there's nothing out there that says how many times anybody's been stabbed. So when she says fucking liar, I'm pretty sure she's
That DNA obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as not being excluded. Exactly. So my read, exactly, Soren Lawrenson. So are you reading it the same way I am? Dad's DNA is on the sheath.
No, what? No.
And yes, I believe I read that too, Misty Day.
Someone's trying to help you. That's not what it says.
He was ending his first semester.
His dad's DNA was matched to the DNA that was found on the sheath.
Oh, another creator put out the 54 stab wound thing. Okay. Well, then disregard. Oh yeah. Okay. 10 to life. She's a fucking liar. She's a liar who never corrects her lies. So no, disregard. In fact, take her off your watch list. She's reckless. She's irresponsible. She puts out.
Okay, folks, I had no idea. I had not listened to this yet, but we're going to listen to it anyway.
Trash and lies, never backtracks and corrects any of it. Zero integrity. She just writes this shit up out of whole cloth.
Wow.
She's a lunatic.
She's a lunatic.
So disregard the 54 stab wound thing. We don't know how many. Law enforcement.
Annie never said that anybody was stabbed 54 times. Okay. I promise you, she has never said that. Like, there's no report anywhere that says that anybody was stabbed 54 times. Okay.
Enforcement have not said. We have to be very, very careful that we're only going by. I would love to know when Dad flew out too, Golden Mom. That's what I want to know.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, she only made an apology, Callie, when she had to.
Oh God. She's so bitter, dude. She's so bitter.
The girl face punched. Yes, she showed her colors with Michael Long, and she single-handedly humiliated a 10-year-old little girl by reading her private journal online without her consent. Who does that?
So we turn this into so you see what's going on here, right? Mar BMW sequel admin, someone who claims their son is friends with a 911 caller defends DM about not calling right away. She has traumas, anxiety, PTSD. Want me to send so you can read? No, but thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're seeing everything we need from Kay here. Now, this is what's really funny about this. Okay. Listen, I'm just gonna let this play. Annie does not need me to defend her. She does not need me to fight her battles for her. Everyone here knows how full of shit Kay is regarding that situation. The fact that she has the nerve to try to say that anyone, not just Annie, anyone, that anyone disrespected that child, seeing as she called her a liar, she called her a brat, she defended her alleged abuser, she denounced 911 calls and actual proof that there was something absolutely shady going on, and absolute proof that this little girl's accuser, or this little girl who she accused, he was an absolute piece of shit, an absolute danger to these children, and there's just data and proof of it, and she did nothing but defend him and insult this poor little girl. For her to sit here and say that this is what she did, that anybody but her did these things is laughable. It would be laughable if it wasn't such a sad, serious situation.
Who does that?
You do
Who
worse.
reads another woman's 10-year-old daughter's journal online? Annie has children. Would she like her child's journal read online? Would Annie like see? Don't get me wound up, people. Don't get me wound up. You get me going. I'm not gonna stop. That case makes my blood boil. Who does that?
Now, mind you, folks, and I can prove it because it's back there. You just got to scroll back in my live streams. Goes back at least a year, and it says, and it's titled Critical K Doxer. Now, all the information that you need to know about Critical K, that and why she even got involved in that case in the first place, I laid out a blueprint of it, a blueprint of receipts that indicate and explain and prove what her motives were for even getting involved in that case. And that case was, her involvement in that was based on pure jealousy of how many people one creator had in their chat versus how many people she could get in her chat. Pure jealousy, pure envy, and rage. There was no rationality behind anything that she said. I showed data and proof over and over and over again when discussing that case. She showed nothing but hearsay and just spouted out opinions and insulted a little girl who was just screaming for help. And she did it for months and months and months.
Who gets behind a microphone and accuses another mother of allowing her child to be SA?
One that's seen proof that it's a very valid question to ask. One that's seen proof that a off-duty police officer, an off-duty sergeant, tried to intercept, and I played a phone recording. A recording of a phone call of a sergeant trying to intercept evidence being taken place into this little girl's claims. Purposely trying to keep this evidence from being collected and taken. And he was off duty. And he lied in order to do it. And I played the phone call. I mean, if that's not data, I don't know what is. All of these things ignored by this person here because she just wanted to make a buck by going the opposition.
Don't be sorry, Callie. I still get so twisted up in knots over that because I know what the fallout has been. I know the
No, she's twisted up in knots. Okay? She's twisted up in knots about the fact that she made a shit ton of money taking the opposite side of that because mothers jumped onto her. Mothers were like, oh my God, how dare, because these were mothers who this thought was inconceivable that any mother could ever be capable of things that Kelly was being accused of doing. So of course, those people are going to go, oh my God, that's impossible. No mother would ever do that. They sided with her. And they just fucking flooded her super chats and cash apps and PayPals and Patreon. She made money hand over fist. I, on the other hand, was not even monetized when this was taking place. So that just goes to show you who was in it for what reasons.
Oh, the damage these people did to that little girl.
Projecting like
they set her back a year in school, fractured her relationships with her friends. Her friends have gone on in the grades. She can't because she was deprived of an education. But Annie made plenty of money, didn't she?
What?
She made a fuck ton of money
See what I'm talking
off
about?
of lying about that little girl.
I didn't even get this far. This is my first time hearing this, folks. Okay. I never got this far in this video. All right. And you just saw an example of the projection. Like I just explained to you. And I have proof. Like I have proof of what motivated her. It's back in that video. But I have proof of it. Because I texted her and told her how many people that Annie had in chat when I was on her panel discussing that case. And she freaked out. She wasn't interested till I mentioned that number, and then she freaked out. And then the next day, she was all over it. And I called her out on it. And that was the day that her and I severed our association altogether. Right there. Because I knew, I just never experienced it yet. But I knew it. And as soon as that happened, I was just like, boom, look at her proving me right. This sucks. It's disappointing. But I knew, I saw this coming. She was, yeah. 150% motivated by money. Talking about that case was Kay.
Which, remember, she claimed she was going to put in a trust for Sophie, as if money can fix what she caused, the damage she caused. Yes, I did call her out. I called her out. I called Adventures with Purpose out. I was the
See
only
what she's
one
doing?
who called Adventures with Purpose out.
No. I did before you did, by the way. But what's very, very funny about that is you see what she's talking about. Yes, I called her out. I called Adventures with Purpose out. This is her showing you what her motivation is, that she will call out creators that everyone seems to like in order to go the opposition, to start a beef, to try to make herself be the counterpart of them, to mirror herself to them, and hopefully get as many hate subscribers from their end to be able to blow her channel up. That's her mindset. Katrina Benedict, thank you so much. Welcome. That's her mindset. She sees YouTubers who are doing well and actually successful as some sort of competition because she's jealousy driven. So she sees YouTubers doing well as some sort of competition, and then she will try to create a rivalry with them, hopefully generating some back and forth. And what that does is that will get her more subscribers and more viewers. Whether they're hate or not, she doesn't care. She doesn't care. It's what she counts on.
Out.
And now everyone's onto it.
Now, yes, of course, Stargirl, it's money-making racket. And I will sit here and say I do need money. I'm like, PBS, please donate, help keep me going. But you know what you're going to get here on my channel? Honest to goodness, sincere effort to get to the truth of things.
No. That is literally the opposite of what you do. Literally the opposite of what you do. You make shit up. You make shit up. You plagiarize and twist. You do absolutely nothing that is of honest to goodness of anything. You never have.
The truth matters.
Yeah. The truth being that you were kicked off of YouTube for violating terms of service on a mass level, just constantly doing that. And you're being sued for $10 million for the things that you got kicked off of YouTube for. Yeah. The truth matters.
It matters. It has to matter. If we don't have truth, what do we have? Nothing. You want lies. You love lies. This is not the channel for you.
It absolutely is.
I prize the truth. Truth is all.
It's the channel for lies,
And it grew and all based
It's a channel
on
for
lies.
misinformation.
And like I was showing you guys last night, the recklessness, the sheer recklessness of a lot of people on social media. Okay. This is another one. Ashley Mary on Instagram, 500,000 followers. And
See what I
she put
mean?
out to her 500,000 followers this screenshot showing Jack S's cute face with these blatant lies to 500,000 people. I would give anything to have 500,000 followers that I could deliver the truth to. Because I've been saying from day one.
Wow. Yeah. So we see where her ambition is.
Leave this.
And Kay, it's not the truth. It's the truth as you see it. Very, very different things. Very, very different things.
This kid alone. And all of these claims, kicked out of a fraternity, anger issues, kicked out of the corner club, has a K-bar, hiding in Africa, parents are rich.
Yeah, I actually agree with her on this point. Because what they're doing is they're just that's hoodie guy, okay, who's being talked about right there. Yeah, anybody who's doing that shit to hoodie guy like should fucking fuck off. Like, you're terrible, terrible people. So yeah, on that point, I actually agree with her. But see, here's the thing, Kay, you got to have the same energies, because you're sitting here and you're defending this guy, but you're sitting here trying to throw DM under the bus. On the same live stream, you throw one bystander under the bus, and then you praise another one and defend another one. I mean, come on. Yo, Ken's Counseling Couch. Good to see you, buddy. The Glare, hey, bud. I listened to this stream near the end. She claims her job was targeted by online people, and she explains the job was her YouTube channel in response to chat. Oh, that's so BHB. Okay. Yes. All right. We're going to get to that before I stop this. I mean, it's Friday night, you know?
The university is going to cover up a quadruple murder to protect him. All of that was blatant lies. And this Ashley Mary,
I don't know how true that stuff is.
500,000 people posted this and showed his face. And I want you to imagine it's your son that people are doing this to. I want you to put yourself in Jack's family's shoes and imagine it's your son. Jack's family.
Hey, can I get a mod to drop Ken's Counseling Couch, his link in the chat? Subscribe to Ken's Counseling Couch. Dude is awesome.
Family are doctors, yes, but they appear to donate their services primarily in underprivileged in Africa. They go donate their time as pediatricians to the poor starving kids in Africa, and they were basically raked over the coals. And it was insinuated that they would cover a quadruple murder.
Like you're doing.
And I don't know how many.
You mean like you're doing the
channels
DM right now,
we're
right?
putting
Like you're doing the DM? Just checking.
the blame on Jack S. How many channels were postulating that Jack S's family had clout and power and could cover up Jack
Thank you,
committing
Hako.
a quadruple murder? And I whited out his face, but I didn't white it out on my Facebook post. So you can go and look at it on Facebook, but I didn't want to put it on the video. But he's adorable. So cute. He looks like my kids. He looks like he could be my son. So that's what empathy looks like. Put yourself in that family's shoes. Put yourself
Oh my
in Jack's
God.
shoes.
Put yourself in DM shoes.
For 6 weeks, the internet, people love their lies.
They
love them.
Put yourself in
God.
DM shoes. Or here's a thought. Put yourself in Sophie Long's shoes.
Pull them up like pigs at the trough. It's scary. It's so scary. And it's so difficult to, once they've been given those lies, just like with Adventures with Purpose, lying about Jagger. The lie, the roadside, Nick G, all a lie. 100% lies.
You're a little late.
And
I
feel
pointed
like
that out when it happened.
With the White Walkers coming at me. And I got my sword up like, all right, I'm going to take you all on.
The delusion of grandeur is real.
But
with
I
this one.
can't. It's exhausting. I sat here on my channel night after night after night trying to say.
I'm not exhausted at all. I do more than you. I'm not even, dude. I'm just getting started, baby. Are you kidding? 2023 is going to be my year, baby. Like, all of these fools got it coming. All of these fools spreading misinformation, doxing people, dragging victims and possible witnesses through the mud. Hell yeah, dude. I'm not even remotely exhausted. I've been doing this shit for 4 years. I don't know what you're talking about.
To say to people, this roadside story is bogus. It's bunk. It's a lie. Jared's a liar.
That has nothing to do with what you're talking about.
To increase the monetary value of his Adventures with Purpose videos.
All she's doing is just like trying to like promote herself. That's all she's doing right now. Like, she's not on topic at all. She's just, look, I was right about Jared. I was right about Jared. I'm right about this, even though I didn't even I've got the fucking affidavit right in front of my face and I'm still reading it wrong.
Roadside stop never happened. He then went on another channel of another liar, Zav Girl, and said that it was a positive match, that the guy in the AAA footage is a positive match to Jagger. Another lie.
Like, she talks about this every fucking live, dude. Like, we're done with, we got it. Like, everybody's already pretty much unsubbed to AWP. Jared's gonna go to jail probably. At least his name's gonna get run through the mud, like as it already is, because he's a fucking alleged child rapist, incestuous child rapist. And that's it. Like, why are you talking about this? It's done. We've moved on. Like, you really need that type of reassurance? Because everybody knows I already fucking talked about that shit. I haven't fucking talked about AWP in God knows how long. You know why? Because it's fucking irrelevant. There's nothing to fucking talk about. It's already been talked about. It's done. I don't have those kind of insecurities like you do, where I need to sit up here and be like, y'all should have listened to me. Y'all should have listened to me. I wish I could take on the whole world with my big sword. No, dude. Like, nobody gives a fuck about you, Karen. just accept it.
And I sit here until I'm blue in the face.
Yeah.
Trying to correct these lies. And most people don't want to hear them. They don't.
Because you're full of shit. Nobody wants to hear it from you.
Want the lie corrected. They would rather have the lie that she was still alive the next day.
No, they would just rather hear it from me than you.
Jagger and couldn't buckle her seatbelt. They want that lie. And he's still standing by the roadside story.
Who cares? It's irrelevant now.
These
It doesn't matter.
Don't care about you. They have no respect for you as their audience.
Oh my God.
If someone lies to you, does that mean they respect you? It means they don't respect you. If they
Like, she's talking like she thinks that like she's gonna have some grand audience of AWP supporters that are finally going to see the light. And they're gonna be like, yeah, come on, everybody, let's follow Kay. Yeah. That's not happening. Nobody gives a fuck about you, Karen. Nobody cares.
if they don't do their homework and make sure what they're showing you is accurate and truthful, they don't respect you. They disrespect you. They see you as a dollar sign. Like Wile E. Coyote saw Rooster Cogburn as a chicken leg. That's how they see you. They look out at their sea
Rooster
of
Cogburn.
audience members and see dollar signs. They don't.
Who the fuck is Rooster Cogburn? I don't remember Rooster Cogburn being in Roadrunner cartoons. Wile E. Coyote and Rooster Cogburn. I remember the only rooster I know of is Foghorn Leghorn. Right? Foghorn Leghorn. Now I'll say, boy. Yeah, that's not Rooster Cogburn. And they never did Wile E. Coyote things. Like he had the chicken hawk, the little chicken hawk. I'm a chicken hawk. Like that's Wile E. Coyote and Rooster Cogburn. What the fuck are you talking about?
They don't see you as people they respect enough to work hard enough to get the truth. And their subs don't see through it, Rhonda,
Okay.
because they don't want to.
What? Was John Wayne in a Wile E. Coyote cartoon?
Garbo.
I don't think so.
Trash. Liars and Garbo. Peasants. Dirty-faced people.
Dirty-faced people.
That's their content.
Oh yeah,
Their
from
content
True
isn't
True Grit. Okay.
thought-provoking, truthful. Their content isn't going to make you smarter. You either want to be smart or you don't care. You want to be dumb.
Okay. Now we've been listening to her for a good minute now, guys. Does that sound like the kind of channel that you're going to get smarter listening to? Just checking.
Be dumb. Thank you, Kayleen Rickle, for the stars. Thank you. Those of you on YouTube, you can hop over to Facebook later and listen to the replay of this and shoot me Facebook stars over there. Not only does it attract tragedy pimps, it attracts
You're a tragedy
lovers
pimp.
of that.
You're one of the worst.
And lately, I've been trying to open up a dialogue and get people talking about this concept of crowdsourcing justice. And I talked about this last night, and I have a couple updates on it. I read an article.
How much is...
alleges that you committed a felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the
Stuck up blonde whores had a chance to thoroughly go through what the comments that were the posts or comments that were made by the Inside Looking or the Papa Roger account. So I'm going to be doing that in the days to come. You know, I'm certainly obviously curious about the Papa Roger account because of that last name Roger. And what I read to you guys, if you're new to my channel and you just happen to be in here catching today's show because I was reading through the affidavit, go back a couple shows where I
Boomer
talked
shit,
about
Beast Levy,
the incel
apparently.
communities. Well, I've done that all week. I've talked about the incel communities and their worship of Elliot Rodger, who in 2014, May 23rd, 2014, went on what has been termed a misogynistic rage killing spree, where he shot, stabbed, and rammed people with his vehicle. I mean, he used multiple methods of delivering death to people. And he had a manifesto that he left behind, as well as many YouTube videos where he openly proclaimed that he wanted to murder. He wanted to break into a sorority house. And as a matter of fact, on the day that he went on the rampage, he attempted to gain access to a sorority house. He said in his manifesto he wanted to go into a sorority house and kill as many stuck-up blonde whores as he could. And the incel community worships him. Now, he wasn't able to do that because he wasn't able to gain access. He rather shot. Instead, he turned his gun on some sorority girls exiting another sorority, where he turned his gun and shot them. And the incel community idolizes and worships him, and they've created memes around him. So anytime a killer goes on a misogynistic rampage killing spree, called me Kay. So I've always been called Kay or Karen interchangeably. My niece calls me Aunt KK. My nieces and my nephew all call me Aunt KK. So it's interchangeable. But yeah, I don't agree with using given names as insults. I think it's immature, lowbrow, and it's just, just another
Karen?
thing that the internet has done that is incredibly stupid. But it goes to fit, these victims do somewhat fit with what they're doing from but now we're making fun of Stacy and Chad and Becky and Lord knows who else people have determined given names need. To me, it's akin for making fun of someone because of their skin color, things they can't help, things they can't change, right? I've always been called Kay since I was a little girl. My brother and sister called me Special K after the cereal. And my best friend, Adriana, from primary school, kindergarten on, always called me Kay. So I've always been called Kay or Karen interchangeably. My niece calls me Aunt KK. My nieces and my nephew all call me Aunt KK. So it's interchangeable. But yeah, I don't agree with using given names as insults. I think it's immature, lowbrow, and it's just, just another thing that the internet has done that is incredibly stupid. But it goes to fit, these victims do somewhat fit.
I love it. Like, she's literally Karening about being called Karen and being made fun of for being a Karen, all in one. It's so amazing. This is like breaking the fourth wall.
With the profile of Stacy's and Chad's. So is Brian an incel? Does he have connections to the incel? We certainly have not heard yet of any girlfriend. We don't have any girlfriends coming forward. It doesn't appear as though he presently has a girlfriend. So it's very well possible that this could be the direction this case takes. And investigators are going to have to shore all that up by combing through the digital media. Boy, what I wouldn't give to see the digital, to be able to be a part of that team, to go through it. I mean, that would be my dream.
God help us
to try to determine what drove if he's guilty. He's innocent until he's proven guilty in a court of law. But if he is guilty, what drove him to do this?
Like,
what
he's guilty.
Was the catalyst? What was the motivation? What was going on in his mind? Was he abusing Adderall or methamphetamines? We know he is a heroin addict as well. Once a heroin addict, always a heroin addict. You might be in remission or come clean, but it doesn't mean that heroin addict is still not lurking in there. And we know that Xana's mother.
That's just some asshole who went on TikTok and said he was a heroin addict. Like, you don't know that.
Is a heroin trafficker. So that's an interesting, weird connection that I can't let go for some reason. My brain keeps going back there. Maddie's stepmom, thick as thieves with Xana's mom, Kara, in the heroin trafficking and meth use and this, that, and the other. Poor Xana, poor Maddie had shit parents, shit mom. Can you imagine?
Okay, so now we're insulting, we're spreading rumors and insulting the victims' moms. Awesome. This is classic K right here, people. Let's play that one more time.
That's an interesting heroin addict. You might be in remission or come clean, but it doesn't mean that heroin addict is still not lurking in there. And we know that Xana's mother is a heroin trafficker. So that's an interesting, weird connection that I can't let go for some reason. My brain keeps going back there. Maddie's stepmom, thick as thieves with Xana's mom, Kara, in the heroin trafficking and meth use and this, that, and the other. Poor Xana, poor Maddie had shit parents. Shit mom. Can you imagine what it took for these young girls to?
Yeah, parents that put their kids through a state college, through a state university, right? Because they're shit parents, who just lost their kids in the most horrific way that I could possibly think of. And yeah, so it's a good idea to just trash them, on top of the fact that they're dealing with something that you could never imagine having to deal with. But, you get to just trash them. You guys see why this person's being sued for $10 million, right? You guys see that, right? You see that this person has not learned their lesson either. I mean, she's being sued for $10 million and she won't even show up to court. And she's basically, her defense so far is, leave me alone. You're harassing me, to the court. That's not a plausible defense, to say the least. Emily Flotilla, canceled Karen is being sued by Ray Andriacchio. She is the mother of Christian Andriacchio. Christian Andriacchio died of suspicious circumstances, and it was ruled a suicide. And Ray Andriacchio believes that her son was murdered, and she is never ending her pursuit in getting to what she believes to be the truth. Kay decided to trash this woman and spread lies about her and slander her and do basically what she's doing right here with these victims' parents, because this is what she does. She does this all the time, by the way. And her channel got shut down for it. So it's just a matter of time before this channel gets shut down too, because she clearly doesn't know, she doesn't learn her lessons. So
girls to rise above that and to go to college. I've had friends who have had addicts as parents, and it's not an easy life. It's very difficult to break away from that. When you have a mother that's a heroin addict or a meth addict, it's, just turn on any episode of Intervention and see the destruction that it causes in families and the damage that it does to these kids that didn't ask to be born to people addicted to drugs. Xana's mom, Kara, has been arrested multiple times for injuring Xana, putting Xana in a position.
See, this is what I'm talking about, because this is just a fucking bully, because it's not even necessary. Like, it's irrelevant to anything. This has nothing to do with how or why these poor kids lost their lives. None of this has anything to do with that. But she finds it necessary to dig this kind of dirt. Whether it's true or not is not the point. Now, if she's lying about it, it's even worse, of course. But even if it's true, it's low. It's low. It's not even, it's in no way relevant to the case or the facts of the case. Trying to understand what happened, because those things had absolutely no bearing on what happened to these girls. And it's a shame that these people who may or may not have made mistakes as parents should have this rubbed into their faces when they're already dealing with what they're dealing with right now. And that's the kind of person canceled Karen is, folks.
Position to be injured, driving drunk, driving with open intoxicant. And here she is, has put herself, yes, drug trafficking in Sightly. Yeah. And I would try to open my pictures is not behaving, my photos, so I'm afraid to try to go back to it, but I've gone over it at length on this show. She was arrested August 2021 for heroin trafficking and possession of meth. And a bench warrant was issued on that charge, and she wasn't picked up on that bench warrant until 6 days after the murders. And Natalie, I'm sorry that your mom is a heroin addict. I've been getting back into intervention lately because, you know, I love intervention. I think it's one of the better done shows. And I've been watching it for years, but I've missed a lot of the recent seasons. So I've been getting back.
I love watching people point fingers at somebody. I just love that. I love when I can watch something that gives me the illusion that I'm better than someone.
And I'm right now watching season 16. And the opioid pandemic, everybody has been touched by it. My mom's neighbor, her niece, died from being exposed to fentanyl. I'm not sure what drug it is she obtained, but whatever it is she obtained. So I mean, it's across it's everywhere. It's up in British Columbia, Vancouver, Ontario. It's all over the United States, and everybody's been touched by it. And it's a huge, to say it's a huge problem is an absolute understatement. And, you know, and I have a good friend.
What does it have to do with anything?
Whose husband, they treat by jetting before going to inpatient treatment, and he died. Can you imagine? It devastates people's lives. And so
yeah,
it
we
hurts
know.
my heart. And her dog and forge her way in this world and to have her life cut short. And for what? For why? So it's going to be interesting to see what the motive is. If I'm right about this incel connection, I can almost guarantee you the FBI are looking at that. If I'm right, did he do this to score some brownie points in some incel group that he's in?
Wow. So now we've moved on to conspiracy theories. Way to go, canceled Karen.
You know, did he do this as part of the incels war on Chads and Stacy's? They've declared war. And so if you're a parent of what an incel might see as a trad or
I'm declaring war on Karens.
Stacy, be warned. Be warned and warn your kids. This is a sick, crazy world we live in.
Yeah, thanks to you.
And you got to warn your kids. Furthermore, if you're raising boys, if you're a parent of boys that are coming of age, or even boys that are hitting puberty, begin now by having the discussion and the talk with them about all of the hormones that rage through their bodies. I think we often fail to do this. We focus so much on girls and their hormones, we forget about boys and their hormones. And so if you are a mother or father of boys and you got boys that are coming of age and coming into puberty, sit down and have those real talks with them about staying away from girls, staying out of relationships, recognizing that they do have testosterone coursing through their veins, and that relationships when they're too young can bring about situations.
That's good. So let's practice. let's practice. What the fuck do you call that shit? The whatever by proxy. Like, yeah, let's take possession. Moms, let's take possession of your boys. Keep them away from girls. Keep them away and absolutely possess them and put them in a bubble. Munchausen by proxy is what I was looking for.
That might cause them to lose control of themselves. And now you have to add this to the mix. You have to add to the mix that they face risks and dangers as they move forward in the world and begin becoming adults, that there's boogeymen around every corner. If this story doesn't, impress that upon you, I don't know what will. So have these conversations with your kids, have these conversations with your college kids.
Yeah.
They need to be
how to raise a Bryan Kohberger. Keep him away and keep him subconsciously resentful towards females. Great strategy on parenting there, Karen. Good job.
To be very circumspect about what they're putting on social media, where they're going, and watch their surroundings. Are they being followed? Are they, look in that rear view mirror, double check the door locks and alarms. Don't make it easy for an intruder to come in. Be careful who you're associating with. Just have those talks. Have those frank, very open communications with your kids, and let them know that this is the world that we live in.
Wow.
It used to be, parents didn't really.
Dude, you think there's any responsible parent out there that's not telling their kid to fucking lock their door when they're away at college? That's not saying just like to be careful. You don't think that, have you ever seen somebody send their kid away off to college? Like, they have those talks. Everybody has those talks. Everyone does. What are you talking about? But no, what's not healthy is telling your kid who's going through puberty to stay away from girls. That's not healthy at all. Like, are you insane? What kind of subconscious, you know what that's going to do? In some Freudian level, that's going to have your kid resent you as his mother, as his number one example of a woman. They're going to resent you for trying to hover over them and keep them in a bubble. And they're going to look at you as keeping them in a prison away from other girls. They're going to look at you as someone who's trying to possess them. And then they're going to subconsciously act out, such as the way Edmund Kemper did. You get where I'm going? Who knows what the fuck this guy went through? Who knows? Wow. That's fucking crazy that she's sitting here telling people to keep their boys in an adolescent phase the talk to stay away from girls. What?
It really, back in the 80s, 1989, when I was raped and also almost murdered by my then ex-boyfriend, we didn't have those talks. My parents didn't talk to us about that. My mom didn't talk to me. My parents didn't caution me and prevent me from getting into relationships. I had no business being in a relationship at 16 years old. Because look what it resulted in. I was raped and almost murdered. I only survived.
Okay. Let me stop you right there, Karen. As much as I think that it's horrible that happened to you, telling a kid at 16 that they can't date is unhealthy. Making them afraid of relationships because there's that slight chance that horrible thing may happen to them. I could get hit by a truck from crossing the street. I'm going to stop crossing the street. That's insane. What you do is you teach your kids better judgment, how to read people better, what's trustworthy, what's not trustworthy. Typical behavior. You do your best. But what you do is you prepare your kid to be out on their own. But what's the point of being out on your own if you're not going to get to experience these great things in life? Like love at 16 years old. I didn't get to experience that. But I felt it. I had crushes, but I never got into a relationship. But I that feeling of having somebody. I had friends that were like couples for like ever, and they had a great thing. To like, because a bad thing happened to you, everyone should teach their 16-year-old to not experience sharing feelings with somebody else their age. You know, like, how fucked up are you? You know, I mean, because obviously, I mean, if this horrible thing happened to you and that's the effect it had, you need to be seeing somebody. You need to talk to somebody, because that's completely and totally fucked. That is so unhealthy. Like, I feel bad, you know, like, that's crazy, but you don't get to, you don't get to tell people that are impressionable, you know, to raise their kids to use their parenting to rob their kids of joy. Now, Ken's Counseling Couch is a licensed mental health therapist. He's a mental health professional. Do parents want kids to be sexually active or in a relationship or in relationships as a teen? Probably not. But a good parent recognizes that it's likely and natural and sets the kids up for success in relationship. Perfectly worded. Perfectly worded. That's all I'm saying. Yes, of course, you raise, you guide your kids, but you also accept the fact that your kids might be sexually active, but are definitely, you know, everybody, like, the halls are fucking pulsating with kids who like each other and are just trying to find the nerve to get that person's attention. That's just how that is. And it's a beautiful part of adolescence that every adolescent should get to experience, as long as they have somebody to guide them to do it responsibly. To sit there and try to teach them that joy is somehow dangerous and they shouldn't have it is fucked up. Like, it's crazy that you're telling your listeners that. It's fucking insane that you're telling your listeners that. Frankly, it's just shitty. Wow.
I survived because I complied with the rape. The next girl wasn't so lucky. He murdered the next girl and killed himself. And so I know for a fact his parents never had conversations with him either about learning to go cool off. Did Brian Laundrie's parents have this discussion with him? If you are becoming upset and angry with Gabby, go away from her and cool off. Put distance between you and her so it doesn't escalate. We were talking last night about how
I mean, she's right about that. I agree with that.
Certainly, there are some things that we can talk with our kids about in a frank and honest way. I don't think Brian Laundrie was an anomaly. I think every so many minutes in this country.
Yeah, but apples and oranges,
partner,
dude. Apples and like, Brian Laundrie was probably a crime. Brian Laundrie murdering Gabby Petito was probably a crime of passion. This is an abusive asshole with anger issues and just could not control his anger at a particular moment, is what it indicates. I wasn't there. I don't know, but everything indicates that was the case. This is a guy who stalked, went in with a murder weapon, used it, you know, and he didn't have any type of personal relationship that we know of with these girls and with this young man. So this is apples and oranges. It doesn't, not even close to the same MO.
Assaults their partner. So we know it's a problem, and we know it's average everyday people. These aren't anomalies. Brian Kohlberger, if he's guilty, is quite an anomaly, but we know that intimate partner violence is not an anomaly. It's a common everyday thing. So are we having these discussions with our kids as we're preparing them for adulthood? Are we giving them these warnings how quickly fights can escalate and spin out of control? Are we giving them these warnings that, you know, there are very scary people that walk among us that might seek to do you harm? So do what you can to prevent becoming a statistic and a victim.
So you could just imagine what it's like being a kid at Karen's house, having to sit down, listening to drunk fucking Karen go, I want to sit down with you and I want you to understand that there are some really scary people out there. Look at what I'm talking about now. This guy stabbed 4 people just randomly, and then this person before that, and then this person, and then this poor kid is probably subjected based on her advice to her listeners and how to parent. I'm getting the indication that this is what it's like at her house, and being a kid at her house and hearing nothing but fucking horror murder stories all the fucking time and making me scared of the goddamn world. Like, that's fucking abusive. I mean, that's insane, dude. Like, can you imagine? Well, I'm going to tuck you in, honey. You know, I got to have the talk with you, though. Okay? We need to have the talk. The talk being that there are murderers out there that you should watch out for, because there's people out there just murdering people. Like, what? Like, Karen, relax. Calm the fuck down. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that shit happens, but man, like, I don't want my kid to be scared to be able to go out and fucking live his life. You know what I mean? Like, my kid's not stupid. My kid knows. My kid's got eyes and ears. He knows that the world's fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, all you can do is just be like, dude, be careful. You know what I mean? Just be careful. You know? Stay away from girls. What?
Jake. Oh my God. Oh, Jake, that's loaded. That's really loaded when like 90% of my audience are. No, it's a two-way street, Jake. It's a two-way street. I certainly do believe in many relationships it goes both ways. I think more often than not, fights escalate because it's a two-way street. The problem is men have testosterone and more muscle mass. They're stronger. So if they lose control of themselves, it's a higher likelihood they're going to injure or kill. If a petite 5'3" woman like myself loses control, the damage I can do is much less than the damage my 6-foot husband, 185-pound, more muscle mass.
Fair. Yeah.
You get where I'm going.
But no, I don't.
But I do agree women need
where
to
your
learn
point
to
is.
de-escalate as well. If you're a woman in a relationship and you're needling your man, you're nagging, you're needling, you're provoking, you're being mouthy, you also need to learn when to stop and retreat and put distance between you and your partner. Alan, we found the Oh, I know, Michelle. I know. The reason I love Beth Dutton is because I identify.
Oh, God damn it. I hate when we like the same
I
shows.
identify with Beth Dutton.
Okay, you're nothing close to Beth Dutton. See, canceled Karen is one little aspect of Beth Dutton, and that's just being the ability to just be completely and totally cruel without any remorse. That's it. Beth Dutton actually has a sense of loyalty. She doesn't know anything about that.
You know, yes. Oh, I'm in for 4 hours. I need to give my voice a rest. And I'm starving. So I'm gonna go ahead and head out. There was at one point over 400 of you in here. I'm gonna get lots of listens, lots of replays. So if you can, please
Yeah, but
consider
like no likes.
please consider shooting me I'm like PBS. Okay, I require donation.
Oh my god. Okay, we're not going to listen to you grift. But on that note, folks, I am also going to wrap this up. I had a great time. Nice little Friday night with you guys. I was watching this horror movie, man. I was watching this movie called Smile. I keep waiting for a horror movie to come along that I'm going to really like. You know what I mean? Like, it's been a long time. I feel like I got to a certain level of intelligence and a certain maturity to where, you know, scary movies cannot scare me. Like, I just can't get past that wall of the fact that this movie is trying to scare me, and because it's trying to scare me, it's not going to succeed. And then subconsciously, I just ruin the experience for a scary movie for myself altogether. But some movies can freak me out. Actually, you know what? Last night I watched a movie on HBO, but it had the worst ending. I was really hoping for a good ending, but the whole movie, I was sitting there on the edge of my seat going, holy shit, what the fuck? And it's on HBO Max. It's called The Menu. All right. It was very, very strange. Like, it was almost like a really dark Twilight Zone episode. Very, very, like very strange, very fucked up. Because and that was the thing is it was somewhat believable, but at the same time, I was just kind of like I didn't understand what was going on through most of it. The premise was too out there, you know? But I was just waiting for something, you know, to happen. And and things just kept happening that I just, it didn't make sense. It was crazy. And then the ending was just really disappointing. I'm not gonna lie, the ending was super disappointing, and I was just like, fuck, you know, because it was really building up. But the buildup, I gotta say, was very entertaining. Like, it was worth watching the movie, because if you've never seen it, but I'll never watch it again because I know how it ends, and then, you know, that the initial effect has already taken place. But the scary movies don't really do much for me anymore. I honestly think that real scary movies, like the best horror movies, were actually designed for kids to enjoy. Just to get that parental blessing, to be able to sit with the parents, because that's the only time that a rational person is really going to get scared of a movie. I was genuinely scared of Carrie when I saw it when I was about 8 years old. I was genuinely scared of The Shining when I saw it at about the same age. I was genuinely scared of The Exorcist when I saw it at about the same age. 8 years old was about when I went through the phase of wanting to see horror movies like real bad. And my mom was like, as long as you watch them with your brother, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, so like the classics got me as a kid. Now that I'm an adult, you know, I just watch. I agree with you. They're not scary now, but when you're a little kid, they're scary as fuck. You know what I mean? So, I mean, dude, Sissy Spacek's face was just spooky as hell in that movie. Like, just her covered in blood, like, gave me nightmares, you know? But now I watch The Exorcist and I crack up. Like, the dialogue is just too funny. Do you know what she did? Your cunting daughter? Oh, man. So like I watch those and I laugh and I have a good time, but now, I saw Terrifier 2. I like Terrifier 2. It reminded me of horror movies when I was a kid. It just didn't scare me. It was just like, oh, that's gruesome, you know. But yeah, I did like Terrifier 2. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was fun to watch. But now, yeah, like I'm watching this movie now called Smile. I'm not done with it. Like it's near the end. And I was expecting it to be, because like the previews were spooky, man. I was just like, ooh, okay. But they just basically just figured out that you put a creepy smile on somebody and make them look ominous. That's scary. But the premise so far is just kind of stupid, you know? I'm just like, oh, fuck. Yeah, I feel like I got suckered by the previews, you know? I get suckered into watching it. Whatever. What are you going to do? So I'm gonna eat another edible and find something to watch. But yeah, I'm disappointed so far by it, Amanda Galosha. But yeah, guys, I had a blast with you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I hope I could entertain you on a Friday night. I love you very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.